And here we go.
5, 4, 3.
Call to me, lands far away.
Elves have forests to protect.
We need to build a wall.
Dwarfs their mines. Men their fields of grain. But we Harfoots have each other.
For I must now wander this wandering day.
We're safe.
You have fought long enough, Galadriel.
No.
Put up your sword.
The enemy is still out there. The question now is where?
It is over.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Darkness will march over the face of the earth. It will be the end, not just of our people, but all peoples.
Everyone! I am sorry, but their time has come.
The past is with us all. The past is dead. We either move forward or we die with it.
This could be the beginning of a new era.
Away I must wander this wandering day.
To him finally being lionized in the prime, in his prime. Fuck.
Do it!
Shit.
Just do it! Don't let your dreams... Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Luke went from being... Oh, no. Welcome, Slayer Nation. I have some great news for you today. I hope you're all doing great. Nope, that didn't work. One more.
You have failed me for the last time.
Welcome, Slayer Nation. I hope...
If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.
That is eating away at what you love in order for it to shine. And one man's vision is... Sometimes you don't have to make things better for them to be great again. You merely have to Okay. Hollywood continues to slow boil the culture and crazy. Well, right now, Spider-Man actor Andrew Garfield has stepped up and he's fighting motherfucker.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
And unbearded dwarves, but Prime didn't stop there. They stapled in intersectionality, individuality, biddiga-dig-bee, biddiga-dig-boo.
So it begins.
At my signal, unleash hell.
and gentlemen, George the Giant Slayer.
What's going on, everybody? It is great to be back. I'm your host, George Molho, and this is Slayer Nation Live. It's December 8th, 2024 in the year of our Lord. Just a few weeks left till we ring in the new year. How y'all doing? It's great. It's rainy here in Texas, but a little cooler. Brought in the cold, some nice gray clouds. Kicked that damn sun away for a little while. You know, it's really nice. It's great to see you all here. Look at who is in the house. We got Davina Duckworth. It's the Phobos, my brother. Then we have Khaled 910, Jill Powers, the River Daughter, Andrea Wardina. God, all of these amazing people. Bob the Lobster, Red Frenchman. I mean, it doesn't get better. Doesn't get better than our group. And Mr. Brown's Alliance. Hail to you, good sir. You know, there's a lot to talk about this week. You know, Trump kept winning. Hollywood finally, I think they're getting the message. Except for a few. We're going to talk about Christina Aguilera. She put out a positive message for Christmas, you know, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas. And it seems like the left's version of this came out of the woodwork. You'll know what I'm saying when we get to that. Plus, there's some news on North Carolina and the hurricane we're going to go over. And there was a bunch of trailers released for upcoming seasons over in Brazil at CCXP. I think it's a huge convention. Like Reacher 3 and Invincible, Severance Season 2. Plus, you also had, you know, Wheel of Time. Ooh. Then you had Dexter and a whole bunch more. So we have a lot to cover. Plus, you got to hold your boats. Rachel Zegler. She had a new movie that released this week. It's from A24 Studio. It was called Y2K. We talked about a little while ago how it was going to do. And it looks like I was spot on the money. It's another one. How would I put it? If it were Disney, I'd say it took it in the Dumbo. Plus, Moana still topping the charts. And RFK Jr. was tapped on the shoulder. What is solder? What is solder? Am I soldering things or am I touching someone? No, he was tapped on the shoulder so he can head up the Department of Health and Human Services. Plus, Eric K., the king of the mods, is in the house. We got Fletcher Williams in the back. Everybody, you know, thank our mods. You know, the wonderful people that do this out of the joy of their hearts. They're amazing. We couldn't do without them. Caledon, War Monkey, are y'all ready to go? Well, let's get going. We got right now, starting right as we started. This really hasn't happened before, so I think it's a beautiful thing. Hit it up, Fletcher. Somebody just gave 20 Spivak. Skiz. He gave 20 George the Giant Slayer membership. So please, thanks, Skiz, and we're going to give him a big round of applause. Skiz, that's a beautiful way to start a show. You know, it is, because it's like saying, hey, I'm ready to go. I'm fired up. Bring it. So get your engine started. And we got Eric K. We have Eric K. He gifted another 5. Epic support. Absolutely, Olaf. That is epic support. Love it. All right, let's bring them all out here. You know them. You love them. We got the king of cutting commentary. Okay, it's still applauding, but we'll give him applause. Why not? The king of cutting commentary himself, Verbal Riot. Verbal.
Hey, how's it going, man? I'll take that applause.
Oh, I know. You need a bow.
A clap for just waking up?
Why not?
Why not?
It's what's in your mind. It's what's in your heart. Plus, we also
all the love I can get.
Yeah, hell, who doesn't need love? Man of War 665, Neighbor of the Beast, just joined us, and we got the man of 1,000 talents, Tom for Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark, and the Angry Badger. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Is that your own intro?
We got bigger cheers than you guys did.
I like that.
That's nice. And we're going to have the DA will be joining us here momentarily. But there's a lot of news to cover. I thought there was something I wanted to start off because I was like, you know, we'll try something new. Get that blood pumping
you
right
always
off.
Got to be starting something. Got to be starting something.
I have
gotta
to.
Be starting
It's my way. But Derek's not here. And I want to wait till he gets here because I know this is going to take him for a spin. So we're just going to jump right into it then. Rachel Zegler released her new movie. Woo! No applause there. None needed. It is. That's more appropriate.
Yeah, that's more appropriate.
Weird. I didn't know she had this movie. It's Y2K, right?
Yep.
Y2K.
Yeah. Because we were like, what the hell is she in? And then we mentioned like one or two things that have failed already. And she's like, Y2K. I was like, what?
Oh, yeah.
This movie was so bad that it failed like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it did.
Before it even came out.
There's a reason why you didn't hear about this movie or about her, man. It from what I heard, it was just better just to drop it and not do a lot of promotion for it, because she is literally box office poison right now. So either way, they were going to lose. They were going to lose, but here's the thing: at least they saved money on marketing.
Is this
money on marketing? It cost them. I've read 3 different reports. One, the budget was 10 million. One, it was 15 million. And one, it was 18 million.
It was pretty low.
It made
pretty low.
2 million. 2 million. 2 million. I went.
What
to
is
see
the
it.
movie? Is this if Y2K was actually like if it actually happened?
Yeah, it's like if it. Okay, see, the problem here is, and I cannot believe I'm going to say this.
Should we explain it? We were dumb and thought all our computers would break, or
right? But we did at the turn. Well, what happened was you had governments and banks. Before 2000, they abbreviated the date. So when you had, instead of in the computers having 1999, it just said 99. So everybody was afraid that when it would hit 2000, it would just say 0, flip everything out.
So one day we need Paul Chatto.
The planes would just start crashing, or
the Earth.
Well, they made us think that the world was going to end and all this other kind of crap. Basically, all it was there's going to be a few computers that wouldn't turn on the next morning.
Right, but they thought basically the apes were going to take over. They thought the apes
this
were
movie is this movie's playing off of that idea, which is kind of silly because is it Jonah Hill or is it
not Jonah Hill?
Seth Rogen, right?
Seth Rogen. Either way, they both already done this movie before, basically with Superbad meets the End of the World movie they did.
Right. What this movie is, I went and saw it, and basically what's going on is because I wanted to see. That's why I said it's like I had to cross myself because I cannot believe I'm going to say this about something Rachel Zegler's in. But you got to be objective. The first 15 to 17 minutes of the movie are actually funny. They're spot on. If they had stuck that for like a short fan film, it would work. People would be talking about it. It's when the clock strikes midnight, the whole thing turns to shit. When it was just a teen comedy trying to copy like a riff on Superbad and American Pie, it actually worked. Kyle Mooney from Saturday Night Live did it well, but then Zegler can't act. She can't even pour, warm piss out of a boot. But then it turns into Maximum Overdrive meets Skynet taking over suburbia. It just goes off the rails. It's like they wrote half the script and they were like, hey, the cast can take it from here.
It's funny that we even believe that, and I realize now it's like, but social media wasn't what it was. There were forums and stuff like that, but this Y2K would have never been a thing had it been like our version of connectivity, because experts would have been like, what? No, that's not what's going to happen.
I don't know. People are pretty, they believe a lot of crap.
People fed into the fear, but it was like one of those big much ado about. If anything, people partied a little harder that night.
Yes.
I think there was a few people that went nuts and, offed themselves, but it was like very few, and I think it was much to do about nothing. By the time 1201 rolled around, 1202 rolled around, everybody realized nothing is going to change or nothing happened. And
I mean, you did have those people though who were hoarding toilet paper and like cans of chili and shit.
But...
yeah.
The thing is
toilet paper shortage.
Mooney actually nailed the nostalgia in the first 20 minutes. I mean, it went off the movie sucks. Don't waste your time. Don't even watch the first 10 minutes of it. And then he built the rest of it around Fred Durst. There's a extended Fred Durst cameo, and it's the same damn.
That's a deep pull there, man.
Yeah, I know. It's just bad.
We just got into this last night on Yellow Flash. Nobody ever liked Limp Bizkit. Even if you said you liked Limp Bizkit back in the day, you were a liar.
I'm not lying. I liked Limp Bizkit. It was my era.
I can believe that about you because you like the Batman.
Yeah, I do like the Batman. I did it all for the Nookie, Tom. I'm sorry.
He's got to go, Fletcher. Nice to meet you, Badger. He liked me. No, it's okay. Everybody's got to like. DA is in the house. Let's bring him in. DA.
Well, here's somebody I'm sure never liked Limp Bizkit.
How are you doing? I can't believe it. You're the first person.
Look, man, Limp Bizkit had his time and place, man. I was never a fan, but you know what though? I appreciated the music at the time. So
okay, so you like Limp Bizkit?
Bless you.
We all did it for the nookie at least once.
Yeah, thank you.
At least once.
I never compromised my principles. Limpa biscuit. Anyway, the point is that so now you have Snow White. We all know it's coming out next year in a few months. And there was an article that Variety had put out. And what I was curious is now Hollywood trying to create an off-ramp for Zegler. Because in this piece, it says, looking ahead, analysts believe that a live-action Mufasa and Lilo and Stitch and animated Zootopia sequel will extend the studio's streak, but one upcoming release, March's live-action Snow White, has been dogged by expensive reshoots and controversies related to star Rachel Zegler's social media posts. The actress declined to take down a tweet thread that promoted the $240 million movie with a free Palestine postscript, but did apologize for fuck Donald Trump and made Trump supporters never know peace. Instagram post. Here's the part where I want to know. Wading into divisive issues, as Zegler has done, isn't part of Disney's new playbook. So I was going up and I was looking. I just did that video last week about Zegler and Snow White. And I said they're changing. A few days later, you get articles like this coming out where it looks like Disney is now pivoting where they're saying, hey, she's her own person. She's her own self. She can say whatever the hell she wants. It has nothing to do with us. But with you gentlemen knowing Hollywood, is that a way to kind of kick her out, cut her from the team?
Why didn't they say that about Gina?
I know. It's a good point.
The problem is if Kabbalah would have won, they never would have been saying this.
Yep.
That's the problem, right? But here's the thing: we all know studios are cowards. We all know corporations are cowards. So it's not like it's a surprise. Of course, they're cutting ties, man. We saw it this year, right? We saw how during Pride Month, how all of a sudden Starbucks stopped putting up the rainbows in their windows, right? Because money talks, right? I mean, you can only like push people away so much. So yeah, I think a lot of studios now are like, hey, the culture's different. Trump won. We don't have to put up with these people who are costing us money anymore. With that said, though, so I was thinking about this last night. Yeah, we don't like her. We don't like her. She's atrocious. Personally, she's a train wreck. Mm-hmm. But then I started thinking about her movies, right? So I was wondering, do her movies suck in spite of her, or is it because of her? Right? Like, is she just being put in really bad movies, or is she bringing down the quality of those movies that she's in? Right? Because the Hunger Games wasn't.
I was gonna say, I think the Hunger Games is kind of proof of.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible, man, and she was not terrible in it. Is my point. Now, of course, I'm not gonna support her.
Right.
There's no way I'm not gonna.
Editing and directing go a long way, dude. I mean, and from my understanding, I didn't see the Hunger Games film. She wasn't the main focal point of the film, though, either, was she?
No, but I'm just saying she did a decent job. Is what I'm trying to say. Now, again, I'm not gonna support her bad behavior, but. I'm trying to get into the head of this woman because I'm thinking, okay, if you got a little bit of talent and obviously you have your both feet way in the doors of Hollywood, why are you trying so hard to just demolish your career? Like I don't understand.
I think she thinks she's protected. I don't think she thinks she's demolishing her career.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's so much to lose her career. She doesn't believe she's going to lose her career over this. She thinks she's right in line with the rest of Hollywood. This is how all of her peers are acting. You know, she's been in the game for about 3 or 4 years. Since West Side Story. Correct. And she's been around. She sees how people behave. She sees how everybody acts. So I think she's just doing what everybody else in Hollywood does, just to an extreme level. And because of that, when she starts to hear the backlash, she doubles and triples down, F Trump supporters. I hope you never know peace and all that kind of stuff. Then she pulls back because she realizes, oh, shit, the Snow White trailer is coming out this week. I shouldn't have said that. So you got all of that happening. But I think she
realized, you mean they told her to.
Yeah, well, yeah, somebody wrote it for her or told her to or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I think the reason is she doesn't know any better. She's probably never been told, no. Don't do that, Rachel. Stop it. She's never been told or reprimanded at any point in time in her life. She has pretty good singing talent. So I've seen this stuff with athletes. I in the LA area, I know a lot of young athletes that play, basketball and football. And it's the exact same thing. These guys are just put on a pedestal from the time they are like 10, 12 years old, and they're never told, stop. No, you can't do it. They're just allowed to run amok and do whatever it is that they want to do. Rachel Zegler is just the Hollywood version of that. That's how I see her anyway.
Good point. Good point. Well, what's
I agree
interesting
with
is
DA.
that. Well, one second. One of the things is that I agree with DA, but it comes down to when you get down to the brass tacks, how much money is she making? I think she's part of the problem. I don't think she has destroyed most of the films. I think Hunger Games was boring. That's why I call it Hunger Games, the ballad of boredom and bad writing. But it's her mouth that does a lot of the destruction for a publicity standpoint, so no one wants to come in. Just look at this weekend, right? So you have Y2K. It's hit 8th place when it comes out. Another article said it came out in 9th. It's brought in $2 million. Interstellar, for its 10th anniversary release, Christopher Nolan's movie, has already brought in $4 million, sorry, and it's in 165 IMAX theaters. I mean, quality.
That's crazy.
Well, think about it from this standpoint when it comes to Rachel Zegler. Replace Rachel Zegler in Y2K with another actress, like Jenna Ortega. If you put Jenna Ortega in that, does that get more butts in seats because more people are positive on Jenna Ortega? Oh, it's the latest Jenna Ortega movie. I think I'm going to go and check that out and see what it's all about. Not necessarily saying that it's going to do blockbuster numbers, but it probably puts more butts in seats than Rachel Zegler does. And that's the problem with Rachel Zegler. She is actually repellent to whatever movie she's in. She's keeping people away from the movies rather than encouraging people to go and watch the movie. And that's the problem with her star power. It is falling fast. People don't like this chick. And they're like, look, I'm not supporting anything she's in. I don't care what it is. So I think that's the major issue when it comes to Rachel Zegler, is she is basically shooing people away from the films that she's in rather than inviting people to come and check them out.
Now, hold on one second, bro. I asked this question of Tom yesterday, and I was curious, and I think Verbal responded to it as well. Why in the hell would Lionsgate make another Hunger Games movie? Because, I mean, they did it with Zegler. It didn't make any money. This is another problem in Hollywood. They broke even, basically. So then why are they going to make another one?
Because it's all they have. Look, they're not going to take a chance on an unknown property right now, man. No studio right now is going to take big chances on an unknown property. So, like, if you want a decent budget, you better come to them with a sequel. You better come to them with an IP that everybody knows, or something that they can bank on, because they're not going to take a chance on an original property. Hunger Games is all they have, and it's done well enough for them to maybe throw some more money at another one, probably with a different actress, but they're going to throw some more money at it.
Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, basically a lot of what Verbal's saying is pretty much true. I mean, they do have a few other properties, but I keep reminding people, I think Lionsgate runs their studio a lot like how Canon and New Line used to back in the day. When we look at a lot of these movies, I don't think they're losing as much money on the movies as we think they are.
Okay.
Because I think they pre-sell a lot of these movies overseas.
Yeah.
So like, I think like this Y2K movie, I don't think it's going to lose them a dime. And I think that's partially why they didn't spend any money on the advertising, is because they'll turn around and they'll sell it to a streamer here, or if they haven't already, and it's probably already in the black. I don't know what the budget was on this thing, but
let's say 15. That seems to be the consensus.
If it's only 15, then that's my point. Exactly. Like, they didn't lose any money on The Crow either.
Nah.
Right?
What?
Like, at the end of the day, yeah. No, Lionsgate knows how to kind of like insulate themselves. The one that they probably lost the most money on this last year was Borderlands. And even that one was probably pre-sold out the ass. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Lionsgate, for some reason, this is kind of how they're able to just keep pumping out and churning out this junk, because I think they pre-sell a lot of it to where they're mitigating a lot of their losses compared to like Disney and some of these other places. Because the other problem is like Disney, Universal, Warner Brothers, they're all selling their own movies to themselves for their streaming networks.
Yeah.
So you're not really making any money, to where Lionsgate, Sony, they have been, right? Like, that's a big thing that they've got on the other end of it. Like, look at a movie like this last year. You want to know what probably one of the most profitable films of the year is, and you probably don't even realize it? Garfield. That movie made so much money over what it cost, and then add in what they got from Netflix for the streaming rights. That movie made like 5 times its budget at the end of the day.
Unbelievable. But what about brand damage, though? You have brand damage that they're doing. I mean, eventually, if they keep pumping out crap like this, Borderlands, the Crow was, I think, one of the worst.
Borderlands was a test. I mean, Lionsgate with the Hunger Games is still fine. Like, she didn't damage the brand, right? Like, at the end of the day, what we have here with the Hunger Games is a lot like the Harry Potter thing with the prequels there and stuff like that, to where, I mean, as long as they make X amount of money on these, that's a win for Lionsgate, because they got John Wick, they got this, the Expendables, they got Highlander coming up. Like
So
Verbal said, they don't have a shit ton of properties, but they got enough properties to where they can kind of just keep going and making a Jason Statham movie here and there, and they're fine.
All right, well, let's take some super chats, and then we will cover something I've been waiting for DA to get here. Steel Leg of History, a member for 11 months. That's right. One more month, and it will be our year anniversary. We're going to have a big celebration. I can't read this. Be blessed. So proud of you. Thank you, Steel Leg of History. I appreciate it. You've been there since the beginning. Empo for 12 euros. Hello, everyone, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. It's just around the corner, and we're going to cover that because we had a Hollywood celebrity who wished everyone Merry Christmas, and it seems to have flipped a few lids. Thank you, Empo. And we have Skull Muncher. Ooh, cool name. $10. Why is Google still pushing the Fauci nonsense? We're 5 years in, and that site never suggests Coop is over. Live your life. That topic is a dead horse for most people, yet it's still a top result. Good question. What do y'all think?
I think this is the most sophisticated troll ever, because he keeps bringing it up, even though it's been dead. He's like the graph web of this, but I appreciate it. Keep doing it.
That's cool. I think we all know why, but that's a good one. And next we have Istaphobos. How you doing? The people that would hire her, Rachel Zegler meaning, make bad movies. I would agree with that one, 100%. And for most part, Spielberg, when was the last time Spielberg made anything decent? Really?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a long time. Yeah. Thank you, Istaphobos. And then we have Olaf, member for 11 months. Indeed, one more month. 1 year celebration stream soon. Oh, yeah, Olaf. Absolutely. So now, I never cover comic books a lot, but I read them. I'm not like Nerderotic. I'm not like Gary. I'm not an expert in it. Read what I read and what I like. DC Comics has Superman lecture Batman on white privilege in Tom Taylor's new Detective Comics 1091. There's multiple articles. Like it says, like woke Superman lectures racist and bigot Batman. So let's see what the lecture's all about. First says, Tom Taylor's notorious for putting heavy-handed politics into his comic books, making for some of the most unreadable works in the industry. Now, as DC Comics promoted him to the flagship Detective Comics title, he writes Superman lecturing Bruce Wayne on privilege as Batman is dying of a serious disease. And here's the art. Well, this is from before what he wrote,
Superman. If you go down, it's not the typical one of like, if you wanted to be good, you would just give up all your money away. It's gets offered a certain drug that'll extend his life, and he's contemplating taking it, Batman. And Superman gives him the good old, are you sure you're questioning it for the reasons you think you're questioning it?
It's just crazy. What he says is here, I'm assuming you didn't ask to meet just for the free knee scan. I've been offered something, a medical breakthrough. It's rare, only available to a select few. It slows aging. Sounds good, does it? The guilt, of course. Bruce, this country does many things well, but it leaves too many behind. Your wealth and privilege already ensure you have a greater life expectancy. You can eat better, you can access the best levels of healthcare, but you know this. So I imagine this all boils down to two things. You don't want a longer life if it's not available to others, and you don't want to watch the people you love fade away. I know why you wanted to talk to me now. You're Kryptonian, you'll outlive everyone. Your friend's Lois. How do you carry that? Well, the nature of the work means my natural longevity may not come into it. I've already died more than once. So what do y'all think?
Superman, I think Batman should become a vampire.
You know what? Taylor needs to stop getting work. Unfortunately.
And
is this like a pro-vax thing or something? I don't get it. I'm trying to.
No, it's another. It's another attack on anyone for having healthy food and good industry. And it's not enough that they always wanted to give up his money, even though Bruce Wayne is obviously a philanthropist.
I'm white and I'm unhealthy as fuck.
Well, that is a personal choice, Tom. But no, it's just because of his
Not according to Superman.
It's a gross attempt to shame him and insert white guilt where there is none.
Yeah, I think most
they didn't get the message, did they, Verbal?
Well, at this point, they've separated the comics from the movies, from the TV shows. The comics are they're in a wild place right now, and not just for DC, but Marvel as well.
Okay.
Most people have stopped reading these things, and the only people who are reading, the only way they can get people to buy these things is to put out this clickbait type stuff, so people will. They're counting on rage. Marketing basically.
Tom King had Batman built up a whole arc of Batman getting married to Catwoman, and then had him get left at the altar by Catwoman. Then the preceding years had him have all of his money given away, taken away, and to where he's nothing, and the whole Bat family hates him. That we just can't have nice things. And then Tom Taylor's the one that took a great John Kent that everyone liked, him and the Super Sons with Damian, aged him up to 17, made him bi, which really means make him gay, gave him an activist pink-haired boyfriend, and now he fights climate change because apparently, even though he's a Kryptonian brain, he can't read large climate change models. Anyway, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's funny because there's probably people in our audience that are older than climate change.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah.
Sure.
We all have, come on, it's been around forever. It's a ridiculous joke.
The thing is, George, they
75
they don't make money. They don't make money off their comics, right? So at this point, it doesn't matter who writes them. So they're gonna write a bunch of nonsense like this. They're gonna keep doing it probably until at least for the next 2 years, right? Once Trump is firmly in office, maybe the culture will change again for them. But for right now, but for right now, they're gonna keep doing shit like this. So and they're counting on people like us to talk about it, because this is the only marketing that they're going to get for it.
Who is
their new stuff?
Who is buying? Who are buying these books?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Their new stuff, like that absolute Batman that we keep making fun of with the big ass rectangular stuff, and they're talking about what a great sales. We've got reports that the reason they've got those sales is because they've slashed a bunch of the requirements for comic stores to buy in bulk. So it's like, yeah, they're buying it, but the profits weren't what they would have been, and they have to do crazy things in order to make even the minimalist of profit.
Well, they're not trying to sell this to us. They're not trying to sell this to the nerds, to the geeks, to the fans. They're selling this to themselves. This is who they expect to come and buy it. So yeah, I don't understand the point of it, but I stopped buying comics for this reason. All right. I dropped out of this a long time ago for this very reason, because of this type of bullshit that they keep putting in there. It's all about politics. It's not about the actual heroes being heroes. Who wants to read panels like that? I can't imagine somebody that wants to. Who wants to read that? Like you're trying to escape. That's what comics and movies and all that stuff. It's escapism. I'm supposed to be escaping, and they're just dragging the real world right up in my face. And it's like, all right, man, I'm done. I like I said, I dipped out a long time ago.
But they have to be able to pay for it. So I would love to find out who is actually buying and how many of these sell on a monthly basis.
But George, you know what's funny to me, man, is it all comes back to just talent, right? Talent and writing. If you had a good enough writer and someone who's smart enough, who knows how to, make stuff like this work, there's a way to do this kind of stuff right. You get what I'm saying? But they're not hiring writers. They're hiring activists. The comics industry hasn't hired writers in a very long time. These are all been activists.
Every last one of them.
Every single one of them. And I talk about Arcane a lot because I'm like, look, man, this is a show for me.
You really like
that. Very female heavy. There are some LGBTQ themes in it, but you know what? Here's the thing. I can tell you everything about each of those characters that have nothing to do with their race, their sex, or anything else, right? Because they're strong enough characters on their own that all that other stuff is secondary, right? And that's how you write diversity, right? That's how you write diverse characters. But these aren't writers. These are activists. These are people. These are hacks who are making a very small living, by the way. These writers aren't getting paid much, right?
But the good ones,
think about it, man. Like you were just saying, Dante, they can't write. If they had to stand on their own creations, if they couldn't co-opt Batman and Superman, they would never see the light of day. These guys would be buried so far under because they don't have the talent to actually pull off the crap that they're doing. You can't put a lot of activism into a comic and get that thing popular. All right. So therefore, you have to attach it to Batman. You have to attach it to Superman and all of these other major properties. That's the only way you're going to get your activism out there, or somebody might actually put eyeballs on the nonsense that you're writing. Oh, OK, it's in a Superman comic. That's the only way that would work, which is the reason why manga and anime is kicking comics ass right now, because they actually tell stories. They do the work that, Western comics used to do, which is entertain us and get us to escape into a different world. That's basically why, comics have failed, time and time again. And they're going to continue to.
Yeah. RC, I saw you say you've never seen Arcane. Season 1 is brilliant.
Yes.
I just finished season 2. I didn't like it as much, but season 1 did so monumentally well. It set such a high bar. I would watch season 1, and you can go check out season 2, but I would just leave it at season 1. I would just leave it at season 1 and go, this is miraculous, a phenom.
But here's the thing. There, you know, for as much as it happens, and it's weird to me, there's never been profit in owning the chuds. No one has ever made a profit owning the chuds. And
you can't sell that shirt. You can't sell the shirt. You can't sell. Think about it. It's about selling merchandise. You have to tell a great story to bring people in so you can sell a product. How are you going to sell that? You know, hey, Chud, that shirt doesn't sell. Like Superman lecturing Batman, that doesn't sell. It's going to be like, what? You're a bigot?
Well,
Batman?
especially when the chuds are the main consumers of this kind of stuff, right?
Right.
It's like, what are you doing? Just on a business level, what are you doing?
From a business level, they're not doing anything. What they're trying to do is win the argument. You know, they have an argument that they want to make, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to lecture you. They don't care about money. If they cared about money, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. If they really cared about making a profit, they would say, no, let's sell. Let's write the stories that sell, that have always sold. What they want to do is they want to win the argument. They want to, you know, stick it to the chuds. They want to, you know, own you and all of that crap, you know, the online debates and all of that kind of shit. They're just taking it into the comic book space. That's all they're doing.
I can tell you one thing. They lost the argument. They lost the argument.
Yeah, because of that, we lost like the few remaining ones that were activists but could still write. Like I love the World's Finest line. It's Mark Waid and Dan Mora. Dan Mora is amazing, and he just, of course, it broke him. He's going to leave. Man, I didn't see any agenda in those books that I'm reading. Those new ones. It's like the World's Finest, but with like Dick Grayson as Robin and all that. But he's gone now. And then the rest are only the activists like Tom Taylor, which are in your face. And then all the OG people have left and are doing independent stuff, or they're working for RIPA, or they're doing their own crowdfunded stuff.
Yeah, the only comics I read anymore are indies. I don't read the big two anymore. I can't do it. You know, I mean, Image has always been kind of, you know, on the fringe, but they've put out some of the best stuff over the past couple of years, man. And you know, as a guy who's been reading comics since 1983 and still to this day, you know, I mean, it's kind of sad, man. You know, I cut my teeth on Thor and Daredevil and the X-Men and all these guys, and to see where comics is at now, man, is damn. What happened?
It's all the Toms. Tom King with Batman, Tom Taylor,
Kelly Pseudoconics. It's the Kelly Pseudoconics of the world. It's that whole mindset, and we're going to see it. One of the things that we're going to cover here real quick is, like I was saying in the intro, is there was a big convention in Brazil. I think it's called XXCP or CPXX, and they showed a bunch of teasers and trailers for the upcoming shows next year. And
just real quick, I wanted to point out the real sin they do, that if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. And they say, what are they talking about? There's always been politics. No, there's always been classical truths that you could say were political, but that's what George put in Star Wars. All those things that will be proven. Tyrants and power. Yep. They put straight up 2025 4-3 modern politics and gender identity stuff into it. That is what we're calling out. I don't want to get a pronoun lecture or climate change lecture, but you can talk about abuse of power and corruption.
Exactly.
They obfuscate that and try and gaslight us, and you know.
The reality is the stories that have been great. They were almost fables. They were mythic. They had messages in them, but they were tied to the character's journey, the world, what was going on. Today, it's just, hey, you see these pictures? It's study. It's a lecture, nothing else. But Ironheart is coming out next year. Woo! We're all looking forward to that. Can't you hear that excitement? Well,
she's the smartest person in the MCU.
So hard, Dante. It's going to be great. Women in STEM.
He's way smarter than Tony Stark.
Yeah, he's got nothing on her. But they changed the villain. They changed the villain up from the comic books. The Hood. He's now an activist from Chicago.
Oh God! Wow.
That's his. That's why he's a villain. He's based as an activist.
And if you know that character, man, like the Hood is a pretty solid villain, man, and what they're doing to him in this is borderline grape, if you get what I'm trying to say here. Man.
I don't even know about Borderland anymore.
Borderline,
rather, yeah.
Borderline grape at this point. This is
100%.
This is an assassination of a character right here.
100%. I mean, what else are you going to call it? Literally, what else are you going to call it?
Certainly appropriation of all the different
minimally.
things.
Minimally. Okay, now I wanted to ask, not really ask, I've been thinking about it since we talked about it last week. And Verbal and I and Tom talked about this a little bit on Wednesday. Harry Potter for Max, that's coming out. The race swapping that they're discussing. And I looked at it, and what I originally said, and I'm still sticking by it, is when you have a creator who has, you have J.K. Rowling built something. It's her universe. Okay, she's alive. I do not like swapping characters because I believe when you swap characters, you change the storyline
completely.
Because you have to. You can't go around saying you're a mudblood.
You can't do
a lot of lines in that situation.
Can you imagine that?
Why not?
And if we can, we'll separate her talking about the stage play because she likened it to people doing Shakespeare and of playing different. So fine. Let's talk about this. You want an accurate adaptation? Should we maybe keep everyone that looks exactly like the book? And maybe I don't want Kingsley Shacklebolt to be white. I want him to be black. I want Dean Thomas to be black. I want Angela Johnson to be black.
Yep. Right, but think about it. I mean, the studio wouldn't have the balls to cast Snape as black and then have people running around saying mudblood. I mean, if they really want
upside down under a tree,
they're not going to do any of that.
Well, George, unless there's a racial lesson to be learned by calling him a mudblood, right?
That's why
Harry's dad was racist, Dante. Didn't you know that Harry has implicit racism?
You know they'll go that route, right? They'll have a whole episode, a special episode about racism and being called a mudblood.
Let's rewind a little bit because you were here too, Verbal, that day. You remember this is kind of hilarious because we were just talking about this. And I swear we get off the stream and it wasn't a few minutes later to an hour later, that news dropped that they were looking at that actor, I can't remember his name, to take over for Snape. And George was saying and asking me and Verbal, do you think people will freak out if they do this or that or the other? And I said, you guys got to remember that J.K. Rowling is one of the wokest wokes. Just because she's a TERF when it comes to women's rights, doesn't mean that, because there was a lot of people that forgot how much they were pissed at her for the shit she did with the
Tom. Can I steel man your argument? You might be right, and here's the pathway. And I tried to explain this how I think this could be, because yes, she wants women's spaces. Blah 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 blah. I firmly believe that Dumbledore was always gay, and I can explain why. That being said, she is a lefty, so
I never saw him as gay.
Very possible. Huh?
I never saw him as gay.
Yeah, but he was, though. He was gay the whole time. It was there. I could go into it, even from the books and all that. But the pathway she could see is if she has bought the Kool-Aid of, maybe I do have biases and I should have written more black characters. And this doesn't really affect the blah, blah, blah. I could see that, but it would be horrible. It would be a horrible precedent that would make us not pay attention to anything else.
Again, it would destroy the entire show. It would absolutely wreck the show from top to bottom if they do any race swaps of that sort, especially with that character. You could do race swaps with like maybe other minor characters, but if you race swap certain characters, it's over. People are not checking for this.
Dumbledore was older, single, wore fine silks, and was never married. He was gay as fuck. It was over. He had a relationship with It was over. I'm sorry.
I don't agree with it. He was a classic professor. He was a classic.
Read all the books. He was always there.
He was a dandy.
I think
he was always there.
He was
very fancy.
I think your gaydar is off. I disagree. I
like
California.
It's pretty fucking accurate. I'll tell you that.
You can life through a California lens. That's not reality.
I'm just telling you, the thing with him and the argument and the sister. I've read all the books multiple times. It was always there. And anyway, it was in her story Bible. But I could see how this might be something she was talked into, but it would ruin everything else. It would ruin all goodwill towards it.
Especially when Snape was already played. I mean,
she doesn't have to be talked into it when she's all in on it. That's my point.
Yeah.
Because if anything, Warner Brothers or anybody else can't really resist her. Like that's the whole thing. This is why they have to work with her. Because I'm almost more convinced had they been able to not have to deal with her and just went forward with a sequel series or something like that to the movies where you have the adult versions of, you have the original cast come back as adults. And then have them teaching their kids in Cobra Kai style. I bet you they would have done that because that's a lot more safer at the end of the day than trying to redo this all over again. I mean, this is going to turn out to be a disaster. You guys have said this in it, and I said this to George. You're going to meet a lot of resistance when she tries to do this with all these characters because that's exactly what she's going to do. And I said, I think I quote myself saying, "You're going to get the Captain Planet cast." Basically, I think is what I said that day.
All of the characters would be problematic.
It would be the same thing with Tolkien. Excuse me one second. It's the same thing with Tolkien, what Amazon did. So what I said was, and I'll stick by this, she's the creator. She can do whatever the hell she wants. Once you create something, music, a book, and it goes out into the world, everybody participates in that. You've created the canon.
You hear that, George?
It's not Tolkien. Tolkien is dead. If Tolkien had turned around and said, yeah, you know what? I actually always envisioned Galadriel as this girl boss. I wouldn't like it. Probably wouldn't read it because I wouldn't understand it even if he explained it. But that's his right. Rowling has that right. Just like every fan is going to be. We also have the right to give you the finger and go, no, this is not the world. Because it doesn't fit into it. It's not, she's not developing it properly. What they should have done is they should have shown every fan what they want to see. Where is Harry? Where are all the kids who graduated 4 or 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later, and then go back and do some prequel shit. But
just give us a Harry and Ron like aura show where they're fighting hunting dark wizards or something in the aftermath, you know?
And they even threw in Cillian Murphy is going to be coming.
Are you saying there's a certain level of ownership that the fans have to what they have bought into and what they have purchased, and like the fans have built Harry Potter, right? They, J.K. Rowling wrote the books, but the fandom is really what made Harry Potter into what it is.
Fans,
so I feel like there is a certain level of ownership that the fans have to expect Harry Potter to be a certain way.
Well, if anything, you have a responsibility.
We have a little bit of an attachment to it. Yes. Well, it's a little close to our hearts.
Well, and what I brought up with George is I'm like, look, this is a book series. True, you could readapt it any way you want. But the problem we have here is you have an entire generation of kids who grew up with these kids in a decade's worth of films, which are arguably probably the biggest film series in the last, 20, 30 years. So that's a big problem. And I guarantee you Warner Brothers, had they had their way, they would have rather relaunched this with a Cursed Child movie or a 2-part movie or whatever, bringing the cast back and then spinning off a series from there or something like that. But at the end of the day, this is what they're going to do, and it's going to fail miserably. And I mean, you're right. I think that there is something to be said about they do have a bit of a responsibility to, the audience. And I don't agree with going back and changing your work. It's happened too many times in history.
My only question
where Roald Dahl has gone back and changed things, and other people, like even Spielberg learned his lesson with E.T. Right. At least that's one person who's like, you know what? I learned a lesson. Being PC is not the way to go with this. I got to leave it alone. And he has said that he would never make movies like E.T. and Close Encounters the same way now as a parent, but he wasn't a parent then, and he can't change that. So he said he would never have Richard Dreyfuss leave his family at the end of Close Encounters.
Right. It changes it. It changes it. Here's the problem. To answer DA what he was saying, yes, I believe fans have ownership. Like I've written 4 books. 2 books got published. I get questions about them all the time. I get emails. And then I wrote a novel, my first novel. I have never published it. I haven't shown it to anyone. It exists here for me until it can go out into the world and people can read it. It's my creation. Great. Oh, okay. But it's not materialized yet. So once J.K. Rowling or Tolkien puts or George Lucas or Steven Spielberg, it gets out there and it gets support and people buy into it. Yeah. It's a symbiotic relationship. That's why when they screw it over, they lose people. What did Disney do? Paid $4 billion for Star Wars and then gave everybody the middle finger and said, go to hell. You don't mean anything because we don't want you anymore. We want this whole new breed. And guess what? They're taking it in the Dumbo. So, no, I think this is going to fail. Let's take a couple of questions because I think they were
I was going to ask really quickly,
go ahead. Yeah.
Has this been official? Is this official?
It's a rumor so far. No, and I'm hoping that's all it is.
If it's just rumor, then basically this is all to do for nothing, right?
I think it's good what we're doing.
Show them the passion.
You know why? Yes, because I don't think it's a rumor. I think they're leaking and doing an alpha beta test. How are people reacting? How is the fandom? I think that's what they're doing.
Could be like Sonic. We don't like this design. Go to the one in the books. Right. Make him look make him look like Snape, sickly and Paolo, and the greasy hair. Yeah.
And I mean, just to my point earlier, I think that some of these creators, J.K. Rowling or any of them for that matter, need to understand that at a certain point, once you release this stuff to the public, it's there. And I can't remember the artist that the story was about, but William Friedkin was talking about it when he was discussing his reservations and wanting to go back and add those scenes back into The Exorcist, even though he finally did, but his whole thing was like, I can't remember the artist, but he said that they were arrested for fixing their painting when it was hanging in the Louvre.
Oh,
and the cop, after they arrested him, they're like, dude, it's hanging in the Louvre. It's done.
You talking about Monet? You talking about Monet?
Yeah, Monet. Thank you. Yeah, it's like, dude, like exactly. Like at this point, it's out there. It's done. You can't take it back. And once you start changing things like that, that's where, you know, you it's like giving Mona Lisa a different facial expression. Is that really what people are going to respond to? No.
Oh, there are some groups that have asked for Mona Lisa to get a mustache and a beard. I used it as a joke in one of my videos. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, let's bring up, I think there are a couple questions about Potter and something else. TGV Monster for $5. Oh, this must be about Y2K. Maximum Overdrive was awesome. Fun fact, Stephen King was coked out of his mind when he made that movie.
All the good ones, he was on the fun drugs. Yes.
I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that. Thank you for that.
Oh, God, yeah, that was major coke.
He says he doesn't even remember writing them. Carrie, all that stuff,
I dare you find a movie made in the 80s that wasn't made off of cocaine.
And bless them for it, Dante. Let's
you know what I love is every time I see Stephen King make a knock on somebody's movie, I just remind him that he directed Maximum Overdrive.
There you go.
You know, I don't think it was the drug. I think it was that they didn't have a stick up their ass. They weren't this puritanical woke cult. They were having fun. I don't think it's the drug that made them, because I'm sure there are Hollywood executives who do all the drugs today, and I'm not for drugs, but what I'm saying is I think they just had fun. They were like, let's tell a great story. Let's have a lot of parties. Let's make a lot of money.
Well, that's part of why I say they got to bring back cocaine and capitalism to Hollywood. It's not like I literally mean bringing cocaine back into the mix. It's bringing that 80s mentality, exactly what you just explained, George.
Fun.
Yeah.
Bring fun back, yeah.
But also,
Red
just a little bit of cocaine helps.
Repo Man was cool, Dickie. Red French Moon for €5. What JKR contract? Does she have a consultant or only creative control? Oda can send back script and told the main characters. Yeah, see, I love that. Love Red French Moon. Oda, who is a mythical god of creating One Piece, he has complete control over the Netflix series. So whatever happens there, he has approved it. He has complete control. J.K. Rowling, by everything that's been released so far, is an executive producer of the Max series. What that entails, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, right. Hand in hand. What does that mean? Like they can just let go of the hand and be like, no, we're overriding you.
So I don't know so far how much control she has.
I'm sure she has. I'm sure she has full creative control over her own property.
You think she can veto?
This woman would never give up full control of her property.
Yeah, but as much as Oda literally has to approve the scripts and the dailies. Like they can't do anything without him. That's how much control. Like I don't know if she has that type of control. I don't know if she has
more than the movies, but she had a good amount in the movies. Like that was the she read the
like
scripts. Like, no, change this.
Cast. Like she could say, we're doing British actors, and that's it. That's the kind of control that she had over the movies. I'm assuming she has some control over, something similar to that over the series, but
certain scenes
exactly
and dialogue.
Like to lay it out, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think she has final cut. She has like final approval on this stuff.
I'm gonna find out though. I will, but to finish answering Red Frenchman's question, I've pulled it up. It says Rowling is an is it Rowling or Rowling? I always get that wrong.
I think it's Rowling. J.K. Rowling.
Rowling. Okay, so J.K. Rowling is an executive producer on the Harry Potter series, along with Neil Blair, Ruth Kennedy Letts, and David Hyman. Ooh,
he did the movies. He did a bunch of the movies.
I know, but that's a name that needed to be changed.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Hyman. How's your Hyman? Where's Hyman today? Hey,
I'm Dick Hyman.
Hyman. Spelled the same way.
All right. Thank you, Red French Moon, for that. Tara the 34 comes in beautifully with she gifted 10 George the Giant Slayer membership. Thank you. Please, everybody, go thank Talitha.
Heyman.
They're beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm gonna give you one more. They get the special one. Thank you, my friend. And this is also for everybody who gifted and supported today. Thank you. That's beautiful. So, where did that go? Oh, every week I try to do a little follow up, real quick to what's going on in North Carolina because of the hurricane, because the media refuses to cover it. So you had JD Vance go there, and he was talking about one of the problems.
What in 45 days? What is one of the first things you want people in this area to see change under your administration that starts in January?
Well, I think hopefully it doesn't take 45 days for this to happen. But as I mentioned earlier, Tom and Ted have explicitly asked the Biden administration to grant the FEMA waiver that would allow mobile homes to come back to this area that would actually give people some short and maybe some medium-term housing. I mean, Tom and Ted are welcome to talk about that if they want to say more. I hope it doesn't take 45 days, but if, God forbid, it takes 45 days, that's something that is going to change immediately under President Trump's leadership. Think about it. The argument here is that you can't allow people to put mobile homes in a floodplain in an area that has the risk of flood damage. Well, that's pretty much this entire area, an area of the state of Massachusetts. If you don't grant a waiver, you're effectively telling people they've got to move hundreds of miles away and do it 2 weeks before Christmas. It's ridiculous. It's atrocious. And we need a government that.
It is. So they're trying to muster support and trying to get Biden to allow people to actually bring in their mobile homes. They wouldn't allow it because of the flood zone. Like
yeah, meanwhile, Biden wants to send billions of dollars over to Africa to help them with their natural disasters over there.
I know it's.
I just wanted busy first day.
I just wanted to remind everybody, like we're talking Hollywood.
I think everybody who's homeless from the.
Right so what we're doing when we're talking Hollywood, that's part of the picture of culture. I know a lot of people have been lately getting tired. Like, hey, we put all our effort, we put all our fight. Trump won, right? And they just want to kind of check out. They're like, oh, enough. But you have to understand, it's going to take 4 years. That's all he has. So you have to kind of stick in the fight. That's why I keep bringing these topics up, because what we see in Hollywood, whether it's HBO Max would never pull these kinds of decisions. The comics would never pull these kinds of decisions if the culture was back, at some form of balance. We weren't.
Oh, we've not won.
No. Right.
It's
so
just
that's
starting.
why it's just beginning. So I know a lot of people sometimes get tired. They're like, oh, politics. No, politics. Remember, downstream from culture. We talk about we talk about the culture, then we talk about the politics that go hand in hand. And that's how we win.
That article you brought up about Zegler from Variety, even mentioning that, they would have never done that. The election just gave them permission, or like, little confidence to even mention that. And you're going to see more and more and more people doing that. But we have to keep speaking loudly and proudly and calmly and calling the strikes and what is what. And it's going to take years, but don't stop the momentum. We've won nothing. We just have a solid beachhead. And
yeah, I mean, within the same month, man, we've had two men win female models of the year, in different countries. So yeah, but my point is, we haven't won anything yet. I mean, we've opened the door.
Yes.
For wins, but we haven't won anything, man.
And they don't think the wins, like we're saying, woke, but they're not blaming woke and their ideology. They're blaming us and the price of eggs and anything but acknowledging what it actually is. So we have to keep hammering it home and pointing it out.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think Vance, look, I like the guy a lot. I've gained a lot of respect for him, especially over this past year. I believe in Vance now. I think once Trump is gone, I think Vance should replace him. I think he should be the next, or Vivek. But I do think that right now, if anybody is counting on Biden to do anything right now at all, other than pardon his drug addict son, good luck.
Yeah, but people are freezing. You're having Americans there in tents. But
those are Trump supporters. They don't care.
Yeah, but
they could starve, right? They could freeze. As far as this administration is concerned,
that's got to piss you off that we have people who are sitting there, nothing that they did wrong, because their government has turned their back on them. And even Hollywood, you see them throwing parties. You have the citizens of North Carolina who are coming together, raising the money, getting anybody they can. Dolly Parton. They're getting others to raise money in order to help them. That shouldn't be happening here.
Remember, FEMA was told not to help people with Trump signs in their yard.
Well, that's what I was going to say before. Is every time they announce this shit, everybody who's homeless from this shit or dealing with the fucking shit from the hurricane should be setting up camp right out in front of the White House.
Well, there's already homeless camps, but you're going to have to make a little room. But yeah, they should.
No, I mean, seriously, like,
I know.
Bring in some RVs, bring in all the campers. Let's tailgate this bitch. Like,
occupy
fucking let them know. You want to see some actual protesting?
And by the way, man, a North Carolina winter is brutal. So
I can only imagine
to be homeless right now is rough, man.
No, I can only imagine.
I can't abide by us giving a bunch of money to a bunch of foreign fucking countries when we got this shit going on. I don't think any American can disagree with that.
I appreciate the focus and intelligence I hear from JD Vance, and I can say that with confidence because I heard him speak for 3+ hours, being like fine-tuned by someone who does it for a living. So it's like that's enough for me to get a sense of someone at least a little bit. And then every other time I says, like, yeah, he seems pretty on point, not like he's just sort of faking it.
Right.
Well, anyway, I want to bring that up. So I bring it up every week because, again, the media isn't talking about the mainstream media. So I'm going to stay on point like that. Especially, Graph Web. Graph Web, he shows us how to do it.
You got to keep applying pressure. You got to keep applying pressure because if you don't, you let your foot off the gas for 1 second, then you go, oh, okay, cool. We can keep going in the old, direction instead of moving in the direction we want the country to move into. So yeah, keep applying the pressure.
I feel like a lot of times our government plays stupid, man. I feel like
Oh, yeah. I think they're stupid.
They do because I'm looking at the situation with this guy, the guy who got gunned down from Health, whatever.
CEO.
Health
People are
Nation.
surprisingly okay with it, and I'm a little disturbed with it, even though.
But my thing is, you see how quickly they solved this crime? Like, I mean, like within a week almost, they've solved this crime. I'm like, so crime happens every day here, every day, right? And it never gets solved. But this guy's murder gets solved within a week, right? Yeah. So if they want to do something, they can.
Of course they can.
Most people aren't shot in front of a Hilton.
Right.
Have they really solved it though? I don't think they've caught this guy yet.
No, they kind of know who he is at this point.
Said,
well, and I question who they say it is too. That's the other thing.
You always got to question the narrative, right? You always got to question the story they're telling you because you never know when they're telling you the truth. That's a good point, Tom, because I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, I think this dude is already out of the country on to the next job. I don't think that this guy is in any way still in this country. I think he's already long gone, in my opinion. But
also, though,
that's
to be fair, the more I learned about this guy who got gunned down, man, he was not a good dude. Like, I'm not saying he should have been gunned down, but he was not.
But he was flipping. Dude, that's what bothers me. He was flipping. He was going whistleblower against them next week. He was gonna
because he did a bunch of dirty shit himself, and so he was trying to weasel his way out of it. You know what I mean?
I know, but him blowing the whistle. I know he got caught.
I get what George is saying. Is it coincidence or is it something else?
I don't know.
Like
that's why you can't believe the narrative.
I mean, it was definitely a hit. I mean, at the end of the day,
it was a hit, but you can never believe like
personal or contracted. That's what
because they had the little bullet casing with the information on it. Yeah, it's like, is that really what it was, or is it because of this DOJ investigation? Like that's where you start thinking, like, all right, what's really happening here?
Just looking at it, I noticed a couple of things, and then I watched a couple of professional breakdowns. It's like the guy, if he was professional, it was like his first couple of hits because he used a caliber that was really low, which is why it wouldn't cycle the round. He had to keep fucking
No. I know people keep saying that they've made a mistake. I keep having to correct people. The professionals are fucking wrong. That is what's called a B&T V9. Okay, the pistol only. It is the most silent, suppressed pistol in the world. If you go look it up, a B&T VP9 or a B&T V9, it only fires one round a minute because the chamber locks. You fire and you have to pull it back to fire again. You have to chamber it each time. It has the baffle systems that it has inside. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
No, that's fine. Just that aside, then he shot him in the fucking leg the first time, and he could have just walked up behind him and domed him once. So he's not the most professional.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, but to have a B&T V9, he either stole it or he got the paperwork for it, and that is, which you can. It takes 6 months to.
Have we confirmed that's the gun, or is that what you think it is?
That's what I think, because I watched it because he had to reload each time. That's why he pulled back. Go watch the video. I'm not going to show it here, but you notice his right hand. He does this movement. That is exactly how you have to rechamber it. It fires.
It could be a 22 caliber, and it didn't have enough oomph coming out, which is why it kept not cycling. It could be either or. We have to wait and get the gun or the guy. We probably never get neither.
I bet you $1. Or gentleman's agreement. It's going to come out. Whatever you want. It's a B&T V9, or I doubt it's the 22. But old.
Does a gentleman's agreement involve hookers or strippers? Because if it does, I'm in.
It used to mean that. It used to mean that.
Can you show pistols? Can I show the pistol? Not the video. Can you show that on YouTube? I don't know.
I have no idea, man.
Like a picture of the gun?
You should technically be able to, but YouTube is wonky.
Yeah, that would be a question. You can show part of it, but when he pulls it out, sir.
No. I'm not going to show the video. I'm not separately. Yeah. No.
We have ABF who has like a whole.
It looks like a James Bond. It literally looks like a James Bond.
It is. I'll tell you why.
I would use.
So you'll understand. So it makes
the fact that he let the witness just walk away, like that was a hit. he didn't even care about the witness. He was just like,
Yeah.
That was some Godfather
I'm on the job.
shit.
I know what I got to do.
I found it. Here it is. This is where you can understand. And if you watch the video again, or anybody who wants to watch the video, you'll notice that his movement, because I fired this gun before. Not this guy's gun. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. How many ads do people have to show? Jesus H.
Yay, monetization.
There we go. So you see, hold on. You see that right there? Where is it? This is the pistol, damn it. That's the pistol. You see the handle. You have to turn and pull that back.
I'll bet you a membership because I've watched the video multiple times. This has not been unused, but yeah, I'll bet you a membership.
It is. It doesn't have the light.
Membership.
Okay.
Handshake.
We do it, but I'm telling you, that's the pistol because I bet you he watched somebody or he knew a vet because vets use them. Old timey vets use them. Anyway, now I want to wrap up with Rachel Zegler.
Ooh.
Did y'all see the fact that the Snow White trailer had the dislikes turned off for a while?
Oh yeah, of course they did.
That was new, but is this YouTube introducing something new? Because I was a little bit stunned by that. Because it's at right now we have 5.6 million views and 700,000 dislikes.
See, her sinking a $10 million movie like Y2K is one thing. Her sinking a $400 million film, like I just don't see her getting work after this, man. I don't see her getting work after this. There's no way.
There's nothing on her IMDb.
She's going to have to severely clean up her image, keep her mouth shut, and she's going to have to start with some very small roles and prove that she can bring boys to the yard, because that's really ultimately what it comes down to. If we pay you this money, are you going to be a box office draw? I don't think she's a box office draw. I don't think she brings people.
She's going to have to do a full frontal nude scene for.
What are you trying to do? You make me sick.
I mean, look, she's not. Look, she's.
Dante, you're not. I just said she's one sex tape away.
It's a pencil.
Look, George, come on, she's an LA5 easy, man.
I don't think she. First of all,
she's an LA5.
Maybe. I don't think so. I think she's a pencil in a dress. There's no
beers.
meat on the bone.
She's 2 beers, dude.
There's
like that. Come on, man.
I need a bottle of Rico for that. Definitely a bottle. No way.
No way. There's no way, dude.
Which guy am I gonna look at?
I mean,
I'm gonna have to keep moving my head.
She has a decent body, man. Look.
There's no body. It's a stick.
She's very skinny, man.
I'm gonna get like
need a few. She likes Ariana Grande, man. She need a few cheeseburgers.
Oh, she's not.
Dante's just saying it's doable.
It's doable. It's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You know,
man.
If
2 or 3
beers
done.
I'm good.
It can be done.
It can be done.
You're gonna get splinters. I can guarantee. No other way. Gotta have a little meat, Rubenesque, a little bit of badunk, like boobs and butts.
Oh no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I mean, you have to understand, Sydney Sweeney is like my
Sydney Sweeney. There you go.
You know what I mean?
Woman.
The bar. So I mean,
there you go, woman. No beers required.
Right. Recreational use only. Recreational use.
But no, to Dante's point, like I don't think anybody's gonna be, bringing her in on the next movie, because she is not only is she box office poison, but she's just kind of okay. She's just an ordinary, regular run-of-the-mill Hollywood actress. Like, why is everybody making this big deal about it? That's what I want to know. I don't understand the big deal about Rachel Zegler, where Steven Spielberg popped her into his movie West Side Story. They threw her in a Shazam movie, they threw her in Hunger Games, and now she's in Snow White. And it's like she's really average. So, but nevertheless, she's going to sink any movie that she's in from here going forward until she cleans up her image, until she gets a publicist that, can get a hold of her social media and tell her that she needs to shut the hell up, because she has absolutely destroyed her brand.
It's like I said, man, the calls from her agent have probably stopped already. They've probably already stopped.
Yeah.
So I think if she has any chance of holding on to her career, she's going to have to take small roles. She's going to have to crawl her way back up. Hollywood's not that forgiving, man. It's really not that forgiving. So she might get a role by some female director who wants to do some empowerment movie. And she might get a small part in something like that. But I think honestly, she's done. Like Snow White will be the last thing she does. Maybe one other small project she had in the bank. But after that, yeah, we're done.
Yeah, she has the, what do you call it? The Gloria Estefan and the Snow White.
Yeah, well, God, I can't believe that's a thing. But
I don't think they're going forward with that, man. No
I just
way
don't
in
also
hell.
think she's a great, but they said she's the first person attached to it besides the director, and the director says only wants her. I just don't think she's also as great of a singer as most people believe. She can hit high notes, but that's it. She has no range. She can't go up and down the scales, but that has nothing to do with us. I just don't think she's going to be here past Snow White. I agree with you, Verbal. I think she's going to do that independent route for a while, or what she really wants is Broadway. I'm sure that's where she'll end up.
And the thing that's sad about this whole situation for me is, like, I mean, the girl is pretty damn young, man. Like, I
23, 24.
Like, in a way, I almost feel bad for her, because I'm like, she doesn't even realize what she's doing to her own career. Like where she's at right now, man, to not have one hit, 90% of the actresses in LA would kill to be in her place.
Right.
Oh yeah. But I mean, who are her people? Who are the people that she has around her that's allowing her to do all of the nonsense that she's doing? You know, forget the bad roles and the bad acting. I mean, whatever. Just to be out there every day on Instagram, social media, or whatever, spewing nonsense, talking shit to Trump supporters after he won an election. Like, what are you thinking? You know, like at some point in time, somebody in her camp should have pulled her aside and said, knock this shit off. What are you doing? You're literally killing your career.
Well, they probably did, though. They probably told her that, man.
Where's family? Where's friends? Where is somebody to say
somebody that she's going to trust? Yeah. Like, it seems like she's enabled and everybody is just saying, yeah, you go, girl, you got it. And they're just allowing her to say whatever it is she wants to say. That's the way it comes off to me. Because after the nonsense that, remember last year, was that when everything blew up about Snow White. That was last summer, previous summer. And after that, you would have thought, okay, she's not going to say nothing else. Ever since then, it's just been like a tidal wave of different types of stories coming out over and over and over, you know, with her shooting off at the mouth. The whole thing about the Gaza stuff, you know, don't forget, free Palestine. And it's like, wait, time out. Stay out of it, all right? Stay all the way out of it. Now you're taking shots, it looks like, at Gal Gadot. It's like, what are you doing?
That must have been fun on set.
I mean, this chick is absolutely insane. So at some point in time, somebody in her camp should have pulled her aside and said, enough. Okay.
That's the problem. You're assuming people in her camp aren't as insane as she is.
Right.
That's the other thing you guys got to keep remembering. And I think you brought that up yourself, DA, earlier, is most people around her are probably cheering this shit on. They're on her side. They're like, you go, girl. And even if maybe, but they're probably fired.
Yeah.
Isn't she like Amanda Listenberg, where she's like born into money, already like parents work
upper middle class,
at Disney.
90% of these motherfuckers that push all this shit, that's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
And the thing that's funny to me is we have women like Taylor Swift, who really, if she wanted to, could be the most obnoxious woman in the world, right? Really doesn't say a whole lot about shit like this. She doesn't really get into the politics. She doesn't, I mean, she backed Kamala, but even that was kind of like from afar, it seemed like. I didn't see her speaking a bunch about Kamala. So like, it's weird that Rachel has these examples of women doing it right. Young women too, young women. And she still goes this route. Like, I don't get it. Women who are bigger than her have the common sense.
Well, I brought up Jenna Ortega. Jenna Ortega, she's a year younger than Rachel. And her star is shooting to the moon. Because all she does is get to work. She keeps her mouth shut. She doesn't talk all about her politics. I'm pretty sure she has all kinds of crazy political opinions, but you never hear about it. All she does is get to work, and she's making movie after movie. I think she has 3 movies in the can. She had another season Wednesday coming up, and she's executive producing on half of these things. Like, this is an actress that gets it, and she's the same age as Rachel Zegler. So it's like, it really does go to show. It's like, if you just get the right people around you, you can actually have a successful career. But if you get the wrong people around you, look what happens. You know, you become Rachel Zegler.
But that's because Jenna appreciates where she's at. She appreciates what she has, man. Yeah. Like Jenna wasn't born with a silver spoon in her mouth.
Well, she had to learn the hard way.
But she worked for it, though. I think that's the difference. I think the difference is
she was very outspoken for a while there. I think she even said some things about Gina and some other things like that, too. It wasn't until her co-star from Scream got canceled to where she realized that, oh, people shouldn't be canceled for shit they say. She even basically came out and said that flat out, right?
Yeah,
so, like, look, at least she's learning lessons, though. I'll give her that. And you guys are 100% correct. Like, if anything, Jenna Ortega is the one that's going to run away with, you know, the career that this
she seems to have standards, too.
But it shows you what happens. It shows you what happens when you're given something versus working for something. When Spielberg plucked her out of nowhere, out of obscurity, and gave her that role, that's not somebody who had worked their whole life to go, oh, you know, this is what I want. Jenna Ortega did. That's why Y2K is dead on arrival. It comes out.
Yep.
blows its budget. It's in 8th place. It's their projections. It'll be in 9th place by tomorrow. That's dead on arrival.
And you know what's funny? A better writer would have wrote that as, hey, you know what? Let's do this Y2K movie where, you know what? The world's going to end once the clock strikes, right? So it should have been a raunchy teen comedy about teenage guys trying to get laid right before the apocalypse, right? Right before the apocalypse, right? And then the clock strikes, nothing happens, but they got laid.
So and they got confidence in their pursuit to get laid. Yeah,
and then you jump 5 years ahead, and they're all like paying child support.
It writes itself.
But you know what? That's how it started. That's how it started. The first 15. The most unbelievable thing is they had Zegler as the high school hottie who's also a genius nerd computer girl hacker style.
As you do.
I know. Yeah, I was like, I buy that. There's suspense, but it worked the first 15 minutes. Like I said, I can't believe I'm saying that.
The thing that sucks though is like you can't do a raunchy comedy anymore unless it's female led, unless it's about women trying to have sex, right? That's the only way you could do a raunchy comedy now.
I guess. Yeah, I could see that. They tried it. Like I said, the first 15 minutes worked. It felt a little bit like American Pie, a little bit of Superbad, and then it just went off the rails. Just shit. And then Fred Durst appears, and you're like, I gotta get the fucking Fred Durst. Really? Wow. It's like, do you need a cookie? I mean, it's like, did someone need to feed him a cookie? I mean, it's like Fred Durst. Give me a break. But I got a bunch of new trailers to show everybody. Reacher season 3 is out. So of course, because of YouTube, I'm gonna play a little bit and then we're gonna stop. Otherwise, I don't want him to stop.
He's another guy you haven't heard from in a while after he went on his little Trump rants. Now that we've won,
he got real quiet.
That he should shut the fuck up because no one's talking about him.
Somebody talked to him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hope he
well, that and his movie failed. So I mean, that was pretty humbling.
What was his movie?
The Guy Ritchie one.
Henry Cavill.
The mysterious
Ungentlemanly warfare.
The Ministry of Gentlemanly Warfare or Ungentlemanly Warfare.
I enjoyed it.
It tanked hard, man.
I liked it, but his accent was pretty bad, even if he was a fun character. I liked the movie, but
maybe
I did too. I did too. And I liked his character in the film.
Yeah, he was fun.
I've been waiting for this moment for some time now.
Who is this guy?
Paulie. He's twice my size.
Last time I saw a guy twice your size was on Mount Rushmore.
So that's it. Have y'all read any of the books?
No.
I've read like 2 and I got one on audiobook.
I just picked up
which one is this based on?
It's supposed to be the third. They're supposed to be going in order. It's supposed to be the third book. But I just bought the first one the other day, so I haven't read it. How do you think the series is? Is it close to the books? Because I'm curious.
The 2 I read are pretty good.
Good.
My dad's read them,
and it's very close to this.
He's big like this, and he uses his elbows, and he's super brutal. So it seems pretty accurate in that regard. More than I love him, but more than the Tom Cruise ones.
Yeah.
Also, I gotta say, like, I don't understand how Alan Richardson and Henry Cavill just aren't in every comic book movie. Just every movie.
Good point.
Wait
a minute. Wasn't Richardson? Wait, wasn't Richardson?
He was in Titans.
Yeah, Titans. That's right.
Yeah, he was Hawk.
Oh, he was in Aquaman. He was Aquaman in Smallville.
That's
way back in the day.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
Wow.
He played.
You know what? I would cast him as Beast in the X-Men.
Oh,
I would cast him.
Yeah. What about Colossus? They've never done a good Colossus.
Yeah, but the Russian accent, I don't know if he could pull that off.
You didn't like the Deadpool version of Colossus?
Oh, I did.
No, I'm sick of the CGI. I want a real. That's why I liked it. I just want a real Colossus. Because all the X-Men movies, they had trash. I mean, it just. I want a real Colossus. They haven't done that right.
I agree. Actually, I agree with that.
And then we have, where is it? We had Invisible. Oh, no. Here's what comes next. Hold on. So they released a bunch of them. Has anybody seen Severance?
Yes, I love the first season. I'm very much looking forward to finally getting the second. I know it's on Apple TV and everyone laughs, but they've got some really good things like For All Mankind and Silo and Severance, where the general plot is people show up at work and they have no memories of what they do outside of life. That's the agreement they do to work here. And it sort of ends up being like, you don't know what you do at work, and then you don't know what you do at home, and there's two different people, but it's you. It's really interesting. Really good performances.
I enjoyed it. It's been a while, though, since they've released anything on it, and now they have a trailer. But before we get to that, we have to endure this.
Oh, God.
Here's a customer hoping for a word with you. Bring him.
What are you doing in my space station?
I'm giving you a chance to get back in on the action on a galactic scale.
Star Trek Section 31.
So if you watch Discovery, you know this Philippa Giorgio dies, but this is the Mirror Universe replacement who used to be the Empress of the Terran Empire. And now she runs Section 31 because she's awesome. And there's only 2 Asian actresses, Ming-Na Wen and Michelle Yao. And that's it.
Apparently, just 2.
Aquafina?
No, she doesn't count. She's black now.
Just the 2.
How the hell did that happen?
I don't know.
How did this, I got a question. How does this stuff get made? I'm checked out of Star
Alex
Trek. I haven't watched
Kurtzman.
Star Trek in years. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was him, but still,
And this thing
like,
was
does
meant to
any of
be a
this- Is any of
series.
this shit successful? Does any of this stuff
Not
do
really.
anything?
This is why
Does it move the
Paramount
needle?
Studios failed because of this and Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, this is almost like a contractual obligation. It was meant to be a series. Michelle Yao was signed onto it. They compromised and made a movie. In fact, I think I was one of the people who broke that story, that it was coming and it was going to, at least if not, I broke the part that it was going to be a streaming movie and not a theatrical release.
So this is the movie that they did.
Yeah. This
Oh,
is a movie.
thank God it's not a fucking series. Okay.
No, they
It's
don't
just
have.
a
No,
one
they
and
don't.
done.
Michelle Yao's too busy for a fucking series now.
Bro, yeah, she is.
I don't know.
Like
I
said,
used
she's
to
only one of
enjoy
two
her.
Asians.
I used to enjoy her.
Well,
in
and that's what we
Jackie
kept
Chan.
hearing was that her people kept telling them, if you're going to do this, you need to do it now because she is busy.
I don't know why she's so busy. I liked how she used to be. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Jackie
Because there's
Chan
only
films.
2 Asian actresses in Hollywood, George. You just
Only a couple
told
of
this.
billion on the planet. But
What happened to Lucy Liu?
Oh God, she's woke.
She's a little old now. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
And
I mean,
actually, she looks pretty good for her age. I will.
there
I
are
will-
some decent young Asian actresses that I wish they would start using more of. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie Joyride, but it's a raunchy comedy with these 4 Asian girls, and it's hilarious. It's crazy.
Or at any massage parlor.
The girls are hot. Well, 3 of them are hot.
Oh, what? No, what about the girl that was on The Eternals? She's pretty. She's hot.
Oh, Emma Chan. Yeah, she is gorgeous. She's gorgeous.
yeah.
Does a
She
lot
needs
of
to get
work
more
in. Yep, she does a lot of work in the UK.
Well, you got to remember, Michelle Yao was brought on the show as one of the prestige actresses. She was not even supposed to hang around. That she was supposed to get her own show. That was the whole thing. Is it was supposed to spin off into this whole thing.
And then everything, everywhere, all at once, and she's so fucking hot right now. So we'll make her a bigger character and bring her back as a duplicate. Yeah.
And in all fairness, she earned her stripes. You know, Michelle's been around for a long time.
40 years.
Yeah. So,
Right. Which is why it's sort of sad to see her now just paraded as the token Asian who can fight.
She wants the money, baby.
You know
She's
what?
going
Okay, that's fine. Get the money.
Yeah, I mean, you know, look, she's getting her paycheck. I can respect it, you know, but I agree with you, Badger. Come on, guys. In this age of inclusion, we have two go-to Asians for every movie. For every show.
I don't make the fucking rules, Verbal.
All they got to do is go to any Hollywood massage parlor. I'm sure there's like 50 of them in there. You know, each one.
You
Come
want
on,
Robin Tug?
Very good.
This is like back in the early '80s, man, when Ray Don Chon was like the only black actress in every fucking
Commando.
movie in the 80s,
I love
dude.
her
I mean,
in that.
Oh, there was a few more than her. Don't forget Vanessa
dude, come on,
Williams.
she was the go-to black girl in every movie, man.
For a while.
And
Salma
Morris
Hayek
Chestnut
is-
was the go-to black guy in every '90s movie.
What about Salma Hayek? Now she can be the only
I
Hispanic
was
girl
gonna say
forever.
that's a little bit more of a better example, probably.
That doesn't bother me. Salma Hayek can always be the one Hispanic girl. No problem.
You ever notice
Salma
that
Hayek and
anyone's-
Penelope Cruz back in the day. My God.
Oh yeah.
I digress.
We need to digress in order to cleanse our palate.
What a cute idea.
She's got blue hair, by the way.
The only way this works is if I know exactly what I'm dealing with.
We're facing a threat unlike anything Starfleet's ever seen.
Billions of lives are at stake. Gather your people. We're going to need every one of them.
31.
January 24th. make sure not to watch Star Trek Section 31.
Why does he look like an Italian mob boss?
Why is he Vulcan and looking like that is my bigger question.
Why does he look like he comes from Rings of Power?
Yeah, he does.
Well, that's the bigger problem with all this modern Trek shit is everything looks like it's right out of the modern era. And it just does not work.
Yeah, no.
One is a Black Ops division. Spy work.
It's just a place for people to bend the rules.
Starfleet is here to make
None
sure
of
no one
this
commits
even looks
murder.
like Star Trek.
No.
Whatever
Oh, and they ripped
you
off
think your
Assassin's
mission
Creed right here with
was,
this protect the light.
it's
They
worse
fight in the
than
shadow.
you thought.
What?
Assassin's Creed, the thing that they always say is we walk in the dark to serve the light, and they
Gotcha.
fucking just took that and reversed it.
How do we stop it?
We work together and don't get dead. I'll try my hardest.
You ready? Let's get messy.
You don't answer her questions directly.
Oh, is this like a heist movie?
I don't know what it is, but I've had enough of it.
Yeah,
that
I'm
was
good.
that's I got what it's about.
If it was
yeah.
Section 31, I thought it would be about spies and cool shit, but that is not what it is about.
Now let's take a look at Invincible. Invincible is coming out.
Oh, thank God it didn't take 4 years for like another season to show up.
Have you rewatched the first 2 seasons lately?
I watched the first
Anyway,
two.
I think if you do, you'll find that there's a couple things we gave passes to that are so goddamn on the nose now with pattern recognition. I'm interested to see what the third season, how it plays.
I agree with you, Red Frenchman. Let's take a few super chats and then Invincible.
To my shame, I've never read the comics, so I mean, I consider myself a comic book nerd, and I
never read them.
Invincible.
People that say they're pretty accurate for the most part, but they,
Yeah.
We'll see. Red French Moon member for 5 months. Too much spelling mistakes. Can't type today. Sorry. Not a problem. I always get what you're saying. Thank you, Red French Moon. And we got, well, I gifted everybody 5 memberships. We're going to do it again this week. So applause. No, thank you. I just wanted to say, want to say thank you back. John Maynard for $5. No applause necessary. I was joking. John Maynard for $5. Paul Chato has stated that since she trades, I guess we're talking about Rachel Zegler. Yeah, have abandoned Rachel Zegler, that she's already done with the rest of Hollywood. Yeah, wait, that's what I was saying. Once it's in Variety, and there's some mentions in the Hollywood Reporter, I think it's the same way they did with Harry and Meghan and any other actor or wannabe or D-list diva or casting couch queen. When their time comes, you'll see it in Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, Collider, and that's the end of it. And then Variety. Thank you, John Maynard. Kenneth Dowling for $5. Hi, guys. Hope all is well. Recently, I treated myself by watching Blade Runner and Alien back to back. Ooh, good combination. Ridley Scott is a master of the sci-fi genre.
He used to be. He used to be.
I love it. Those are great movies to watch back.
They are. They're
I'll just keep my
man.
mouth shut.
Yeah, I love Ridley Scott's old work. I do.
Hey,
I
so
watch all
even
the
then,
time.
is what you're gonna say.
No, I mean,
Honestly,
Blade Runner is still in my top 10.
No, you cannot say there's something wrong with Blade
He's
Runner.
gonna do it. Let him do it.
It's not possible.
It is.
not.
It's a very overly pretentious film that if he didn't need 5 different cuts, then maybe. I don't know.
I like the final cut myself. I'm a final cut guy.
What about the final cut?
That hasn't come out yet. I'm waiting for
the
it.
final
The
definitive
next
cut?
to final cut.
It's gonna be a banger, bro.
The not so final cut was okay.
Thank you, Kenneth. I love Blade Runner and Alien.
I don't mind the narration version.
And we also have, I think, Mr. Brown's Alliance. Hail to you, my friend. Great to see you. Okay, now we're going to check out Invincible.
Oh, boy.
I think it looks good. Good. I love season 1. I watched season 2. I didn't think it was bad. I just thought it was too short and too quick.
Yeah,
we should have done that break.
I don't know why. It was just like it just stopped. It was like, is that it? Where's the ending?
Yeah.
No.
The Mahler twins, they're great. George, you did watch the second half of the second season, right? Because that was the whole thing. They had 4 episodes and it just stops. And then there was like a 6-month plus break.
No, I
and then
didn't
they
see
got
that.
this. Oh, There's like 4.
Shit.
Yeah, you're gonna spoil yourself of who this kid is and all. There's like 4 of the best episodes
George.
of the second
Wow,
season.
you only saw the first half.
What the hell is the rest of it? I'm like, what the hell is going on? That was
That was the controversy. There's the second they didn't do this time. They're not going to do that break. So yeah, there's 4 episodes you got to watch, bro.
Yeah,
you're really
missed
good.
like a lot, man.
I like them.
Okay, so what the hell why the hell did they do that? I mean, who does that in the middle of a season? We're just going to stop right here. It's like going to the drive-thru. I told y'all that story 3 weeks ago. It's still stuck with me the way I got screwed at Jack in the Box. I just left, and then haven't
they been doing that like part 1, part 2s, and I don't get it why they do that either.
Doing
like,
that,
right? Did that shit. Like, why are you?
Yeah,
this is kind of annoying. Like, yeah, just play
Cobra
the season
Kai
out. I don't know
because
if like, they want to like get us hyped up for the second half. It's like just give us the whole.
Just
season.
waiting until it all comes out. I don't like those breaks.
Yeah, I don't like that crap, man.
It's like annoying. I started watching whatchamacallit, Landman.
Yeah.
And someone told me there was going to be a break. I was like, I ain't fucking watching this anymore. I'm going to wait till it's all done.
If I know it's a break, I'm not watching it. I'm going to wait.
Well, we got to remember some of these breaks right now are because of the stupid writers' strike.
The strike, yeah.
But the other times when they're doing this, that's what I was going to say. That's what Cobra Kai was all about. Plus, they added 5 episodes they normally wouldn't have had. Otherwise, like, yeah, it's because of the strike. But they've started doing this now because of the reasons we complained about before about them dropping all the shows all at once.
I would like the shows to drop all at once again. I like that. Watch them all. Get the story. I hate that week after.
It's kind of it benefits us in a way. It benefits us in a way because, like, look at a show like Cobra Kai. The problem with that is you could talk about it, but you talk about it once,
right,
and then it's over because it's all out at once, and then there's nothing more to talk about. But then, like this time, by now they waited so long to get these out because of between the strikes and everything. Now nobody's talking about it really. But
yeah, it's the legendary F&T debate of binge model versus for us. It behooves us for weekly releases because we can keep talking and stretch it out. But as
I like the fact that the Penguin was week to week.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was
that's rare,
and it was something to look forward to every Sunday.
I agree with that. That's rare because that's good. But I always go with a binge model because I hated it as a kid. Next week, next. No, I want it all at once, and then
I like the binge model when it comes to shows I'm iffy about. But if it's a show like I'm really digging, I don't mind the week wait because it gives me like time to kind of chew on what I just saw.
I don't like the pressure to watch it all the first day when it releases all at once.
Yeah, because then you're worried about somebody spoiling it on you. And
good for content creation when it's week to week too.
I know it is, but I'm trying to.
Well, the bigger problem isn't.
I have zero patience.
I agree with you, George, and I get where you're coming from. But I think the bigger problem here, and we kind of got a little bit of an insight into this from Kevin Costner. When I think the bigger problem is they don't have set schedules like they used to, right? We used to have a fall schedule. They'd come in the fall, or it'd be more like the late summer. They'd film their first batch of episodes. They'd start showing those. They had time to adjust as they were shooting the next batch and all that kind of stuff. And they used to do that. And you was a set schedule and you knew by the spring, your ass would be out of there. Plus you got Christmas off or whatever. That's what Costner was complaining about, was the way Sheridan was stretched so thin and they didn't have a set schedule for anything. And they couldn't tell him when he was coming back. And he's like, I got people waiting on me and they've been waiting on me for years. And I've already set stuff up, set stuff in motion. I can't cancel it now. So that's why he left the show. Because Sheridan couldn't give him a set date that they were supposed to shoot, I guess. So I think that's one of the bigger problems we have here is none of these shows run on an actual schedule. When you got a year, 2 years between Stranger Things seasons or Cobra Kai seasons, like this is to me the bigger problem than whether or not a show drops all at once or drops weekly. Because it used to be we'd only get a show once a week. Right? Like that I have no problems with. That's what I'm used to. And I think that's the bigger issue here. And that's one of the issues with a lot of these shows, especially the Marvel shows.
You end up forgetting they exist.
Because they're all shot at once like one big fat movie.
Right. Crazy. I still like binging, but
that's what Costner said. He goes, I'd like to work more than once a year. That's the other thing.
That's cool.
Nice.
It looks good.
Looking forward to that.
Considering what I just said, the animated shows seem to be one of the few things that are generally pretty consistent for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
because they have to schedule them out, right? So, like,
and they've got the source material to, like, if it's animation, they base it off the book. It's already got their storyboards done. They just have to pick and choose what order they're going to do it in.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
And then we had this. It's only 12 seconds. It's 28 years later.
Oh.
I was surprised.
Oh, they got a teaser out for that finally?
Yeah.
So now this is supposed to ignore the last one. Is that what's going on with this one from what I've heard? I don't
know. I haven't seen this.
I just assumed it didn't work out in the last one. Like they had another.
Well, the whole thing is like, didn't the original director have nothing to do with the sequel?
No, I thought it was Is it not? I thought it was Danny Boyle and Alec.
Was
Garland.
it again? Okay, I thought
Yeah.
he said. Okay, maybe I misheard or misunderstood what he was talking about with this one. But okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. Morse code.
They're on an
Wanna
island.
Work that out for us.
Somebody
see.
figured it out. I'm sure it's in the comments somewhere.
It's probably SOS, but
Oh,
It
it
sounded
means
like
the
SOS,
trailer is
actually.
releasing in the full trailer is releasing Tuesday. Whoa.
cool.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Whoa. Yeah. Okay. So here's that. They did all that just simply to. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. See, now somebody in the chat says they skipped 28 months later.
Well, I think that means they should have done it, and now we've just got to go
Oh,
straight
maybe
to-
that's what they meant by
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I maybe I misinterpreted it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Hold on, and then we.
But it
have-
is Danny.
The more
28
Tom
weeks wasn't
knows.
directed by Boyle, but this one is. This one is.
See, that's
Danny.
what I
Yeah, okay,
thought.
I get you. Yeah. But that doesn't mean it's not canon, because in the second one, it was America helping repopulate England right after the outbreak, and I just assume another outbreak, and maybe it spread to other countries. And
Yeah, John, I don't know. It's the teaser for 28 years later, and it's basically Morse code saying full trailer's coming out on Tuesday. And
it's
then
like the
we-
worst version of the zombie apocalypse, where they're super fast running. And
I
All
enjoyed the
know
first one. Loved it.
Is when they announced this movie, the Blu-ray prices for the first two went up like skyrocketed because it's been out of print forever because Disney owns the rights to the Blu-rays now. Is it with
Well,
Fox Pictures?
Well, here we have Severance, season
Yeah.
2. After all these years,
Mr. Scout. I know you're still weighing whether to return to Lumen. But the mark I've come to know is happy.
Hello, is anyone there? Is the board on? It's Marquez from Macro.
What you all did was one of the most painful moments in the history of
Cue
this
the
company.
slow pop song.
wow, Torturo's in it. I wonder if that's why
he's likable.
I like Torturo's. I like Torturo and everything he does. I just didn't like the fact that he didn't do the Penguin.
You think this
Theory.
is the scheduling? Because he said it was violence against women.
It was violence against women, right?
Yeah.
At first he said it was scheduling, and then he came out, which I don't know if that was what he really believed, his agent or something, but it was bullshit. He's done more violent movies than the Penguin, so that's just
ridiculous. Violence against women's not my thing. It's like, okay, just a role.
But the four of you have become known as the face of Severance reform.
Okay, so we're not in trouble? I don't think so. Milchick said we're famous. All of us equally, or one of us is like the star?
Now, if you feel that you can't go on.
So what? I didn't know Ben Stiller made this.
He's one of the. Either way, it's good. Like, there's a bit of a romance, but they have different personalities outside and inside because they lose their memories when you go into work.
The hell did you guys see up there? It's not our world up there.
And your life is filled with much confusion. Find out his wife died a few years ago. Except the woman is Miss Casey.
So what are you gonna do?
I gotta get her out of here.
Mark, and he said she's alive.
This is obscene.
I just want to be sure.
Wait, was that what's her name from Eternals? His wife?
It's the chick from Carbon Fiber or Ultra Carbon rather, and she's like the played the sister and a couple other
She's
things.
Mongolian. Yeah, I remember her. The
Yeah,
sister.
she's just a couple of different things. Yeah, the whole thing turns into basically like, is this slavery? Like, if you were like, yeah, I'm going to sign up to go work, but I won't remember anything. But then essentially you have someone who just wakes up at work, and when they leave for the day, the next time they wake up, they're back at work. And it's like, oh my God, that sounds horrible. And then what are you doing again at that job?
Gemma Chan.
Interesting. I've never seen this, but I'm interested.
Oh no, you
First
should watch.
season's worth a
Season
watch,
1
dude.
is very well written. Da. Very
Yeah, I
well
didn't know Adam Scott was in it.
Yeah,
He's not my favorite. It's not, I had to put up with that, but it was such good writing. I can't stand the actor, but it was really well done.
I like him, but I usually like him in like the little asshole roles because he's so good at that.
He's very good. Yeah,
He's too good at it because I actually think he's an asshole, so I don't like watching any of his stuff.
Which is funny. In real life, he's probably one of the nicest
Right,
guys
could
you've
be.
ever met. No,
Could
I'm
be.
not kidding because it's usually that way. Like even Thomas Wilson and some of these other guys who've always played like famous bullies. Like even look at what's his face who played Johnny, and he played almost every Billy Zabka. He played almost every bully in 80s movies, but yeah, he's like supposedly one of the nicest guys ever. I'm sure some of you guys have even met him here on
He's
the
in
panel.
Star Trek
he's a
First
very nice
Contact,
guy.
I think. He's on the Defiant with Worf.
Yeah.
Why did you do this? What is this all about?
Do you know something about Gemma?
Mark, there'll be no honeymoon ending for you.
Their work will be remembered as one of the greatest moments of this planet.
You don't value them. You fear them. We fear no one.
I'm tightening the leash.
If we let this happen to Miss Casey, who's going to step up when it happens to us?
What the hell was that?
Goodbye, Marquez.
Wait!
My name is Miss Fong.
That's good.
It's my first day here as deputy manager. Mark W.
Why are you a child?
Because of when I was born.
Let's see. Why are you a child?
I haven't seen this yet, but I've heard a lot of good stuff. Yeah,
Very good. Season 1, you should watch it. Season 1, it was
It's
season
an
1
Apple
is
Plus
excellent.
show, right?
I do actually have the Apple thing. Yeah,
Yeah, season 1 is really
I
good.
keep forgetting to cancel it.
It's constantly making you going, what the hell is, what are they doing there? What is this? It's good.
I want to watch Juror 2 tonight. I mean, Juror tonight is what I want to see. I haven't seen it yet, but it's supposed to have hit number 2, I think, on Apple's charts. So I was really happy for it.
I got Indiana Jones and The Great Circle for free on Game Pass, so we'll see how good or bad that's going to be.
Yeah, I'm playing Marvel Rivals right now, and I'm hooked,
You and
man.
everyone else, dude. All my friends playing that. All my
As soon
streaming.
as we're done with this, I'm gonna go back to playing it. Like
The addiction is real.
What's
Like
your-
500,000 people.
Well, did y'all see, talking about real quick as we wrap up the Hollywood part, since you're talking about Indiana Jones, did you see that Mangold blamed the fans for Indiana Jones
yeah.
and the dial of
Oh,
cucking Indiana Jones?
Oh yeah, no, I saw that. Of course.
Yep.
Unbelievable. They again,
Fuck him.
they do not learn. Mangold said, "You have a wonderful, brilliant actor who's in his 80s. So I'm making a movie about this guy in his 80s. But his audience, on one other level, doesn't want to confront their hero at that age." That's not what we said. And I'm like, I'm good with it. We made the movie, but the question is, how would anything have made the audience happy with that, other than having to start over again with a new guy? And then here come lifelong heroes from my childhood into my life going, we have something for you to work on. It was a joyous experience, but it hurt in the sense that I really love Harrison. And I wanted audiences to love him, as he was to accept that that's part of what the movie has to say. That things come to an end. That's part of life. How about
Have
he?
Phoebe Waller-Bridge knock you out and fucking like I don't understand the
Yeah,
instead of
so
a new
you-
guy, you had a girl. What?
He
Yeah, like
goes on,
okay,
he
let's
blames
break
the
it
queen.
down. Let's break it down. Like he's basically saying that Indiana Jones is going to stop being Indiana Jones, you know, at some point in his life. Like this guy is yeah, happy birthday, Rob. He should be running circles around Helena Shaw. All right. Indiana Jones is a G. He's an old school archaeologist, treasure hunter, relic finder. This guy has been through it all. He took on the Nazis. You mean to tell me that this guy's lost his steam and he can't handle Helena Shaw? Get out of here, man. That's the reason why nobody liked this character the way it was presented. You still have Indiana Jones at the top of his game. Still, maybe he's not as physical as he used to be, but he can still run circles around all of these cats that he was going up against in that movie. So yeah, nobody bought the character because that wasn't Indiana Jones.
It wasn't
all
even
right?
about
That was
Indiana
a-
Jones though. Like, look, here's the thing. The thing he's not being honest about is no one liked her.
Right.
No one liked her. right? We could deal with Indiana Jones aging. We could deal with him not being the same guy he was back when he was, when he was younger. We can deal with that. That's almost insulting to say that we couldn't deal with age, right? But what he's not saying is we didn't like her. And unfortunately, she was a big part of the film, right? She pretty much cucked him in his own film.
It was her movie.
Well, and I said, the problem with that movie is you didn't have to really change anything except for switch out her for Short Round. Yeah, I don't think anybody would have
been a lot better. Yeah. Real talk.
Because it would have made sense in the way the film is set up that we go, where the hell did Short Round go? Well, what you find out is that after the events of Temple of Doom, Indy got like, I can't be dragging this kid everywhere. He's going to get killed. So he puts him in like a boys' home or something like that. So later on in life, Short Round's a little resentful of Indy for doing that to him, not understanding why he did it. So he, on the other hand, is getting into selling all these artifacts and stuff, which isn't something Indy's all into. So he shows up one day to steal the Dial of Destiny from Indy. And it's kind of like him getting back at him, but then throughout the entire show, because you have that other kind of kid that was with her, that is kind of like her Short Round, what you do is you have him get his arm broke or him getting shot in the arm or something like that, to where Short Round realizes, oh God, that's why Indy put me in a boys' home, because he didn't want me to get shot or my arm broke. Duh, now it makes sense to me. And then you wrap up the film similar to the way you did. Nobody probably would have said shit.
Drama. You can cast everyone. You can do it as an audio drama.
Well, here's
and the proof was in the pudding when at the Oscars you had that picture of him, those two hugging each other, and it went viral as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what? I would say I don't even know who we're talking about who said this stuff.
James Mangold.
Oh, okay, James. Okay, here's the thing I would say about Dial of Destiny. I think it has even a bigger problem. I didn't believe. Like you have Indiana Jones should be the Gandalf of archaeology in his later years because of everything he's seen. You know, he's seen the wonders of the earth. He's seen how many times has he look, we only got 4 big adventures with him throughout his life.
But dude, he saw the Holy Grail.
That's the thing. You saw the Holy Grail, you saw an immortal knight. You saw the power of God come out of the Ark of the Covenant and vanquish the Nazis. You saw the power of the Sankara stones and all that. You saw a man, Molaram, pulled out a beating heart from some dude.
Oh, God, yeah.
And so imagine what he's seen by the time. And when we meet him, he's like this depressed old guy. You know, they're giving a ticker tape parade to the astronauts. He should have been some Timothy Leary, whacked out mystic. You know, talking about the Yaqui way of knowledge, and he should have been like this. And the kids, I mean, we should have seen him with the long beard, and the kids would have been sitting in awe of this guy because he would have been talking about the wonders of the universe and everything. He should have been the exact opposite of how he was portrayed in that movie because he's this guy gruff. Oh, I'm getting divorced, and my son Mutt died in Vietnam, and all this. It was the exact opposite of where they should have taken it.
So petty to do that too, because Shia said something they didn't like.
They did not need to do that to Shia's character at all.
No, and the thing is, you can't. The real thing, they did the same thing to Han Solo. You know, they turned these characters. It's
basically the same plot, actually, Robert. But yeah.
Well, these characters are supposed to become like embittered people. I would think Indiana Jones would be one of the most enlightened MFers on Earth because he's seen he's seen the existence of the divine. He's seen the existence of the horror as well. So I would think that not only is he a believer, he would be proselytizing to the flock about the wonders of the universe. And people would think he's insane and crazy, but they would love him anyway.
Or rock star, right? That they all still love.
I mean, and this idea that you know he was this disaffected guy teaching, it was such a wrong-headed. Again, the I can't stand the deconstruction of our heroes. This idea that because we, you know, last night I did a stream where I was talking about Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and this morning somebody left a comment, and I was talking about being called a gatekeeper. This guy said, not only are you a gatekeeper, but you're an elitist. I'm older than you, and I've been watching Star Trek longer than you have. And I was thinking to myself, and I was joking about it on the stream I was just on, that what's wrong with being a gatekeeper and an elitist?
We should have gatekept.
We need people that know the difference. We need people that are about excellence. And this idea that we want to make, everybody's got to be the same. I'm like, people aren't the same. Everybody's, I can't be LeBron James. As much as I would want to be, I could play basketball every day for my entire life. I'm never going to have the natural ability LeBron James has. And that's okay. That's okay. I have to learn and understand that maybe the NBA isn't my future.
It's just who you are.
And you pivot and you find something that you are good at, that you do love. And
gatekeeping just means standards, and you have standards.
I agree. And yeah, absolutely. And I think, why is that such a bad thing? When I look at people, like, for instance, a friend of mine, my friend Kelly Goto, who just wrote a book, was talking about, she was listening to an animator, like somebody who worked at Pixar, speak. And I've always thought, I wish I could think like an animator, because the gags that they come up with, and this animator, the way she explained it, she says when an animator is in nature and like he's walking through the forest and he sees a leaf fall off a tree and spin down to the forest floor, in his mind, he's seeing that leaf going, as he spins all the way down. And I'm like, I don't think that way. And that's why an animator works at Pixar. And I love the idea that we're all different. We should celebrate all of that.
But that doesn't fit in, Robert, with when you have a cult mentality and they want everybody to be lockstep in the same direction.
If I can, real quick, I just want to say I don't like the term gatekeeper so much, but I don't like the term keymaster. You are the keymaster and I'm being absolutely serious, because you're the key to the way to show you the right way into this.
I'm going to unlock the door to show you
exactly
the universe.
But if you're somebody who's not genuine, then I'm going to lock that motherfucker quicker than shit.
Yeah.
I like the term God Emperor of the Universe personally.
But let's be honest, though. The people who use that term gatekeeper are basically these are people who only want to take something that fans love and bastardize it to something that they want it to be.
And then they want to gatekeep, by the way, by calling us racist.
Anytime they say gatekeeper, that's what they're saying. They're saying, hey, we know you love this thing, but we want it now, and we want to change it into this.
Yeah.
No.
That's what we were just talking about with the Superman, right? It's like we want to take Superman and Batman, we want to use them to platform our ideology, and instead of actually, paying homage to what, made this as great as it became, it's like what made Superman, what made Batman, what made Indiana Jones what it was. It was the purity of the storytelling, it was the character, it was the adventure, and we're just going to leave it there, and that's what we're going to make. No. We're going to take it over, and then we're going to give you Helena Shaw. That's what you guys want. You don't know it yet, but that's what you're looking for. You're looking for feminism in Indiana Jones. So it's like, all right, forget it.
And that's where we were saying it earlier, is that yes, once these things are released, we do kind of have an ownership over them.
Yes.
Right. They do have a responsibility to the fans in a way. And there are expectations that are set up, and Star Wars is a great example of that. Star Trek, what we've dealt with, like just before you got here, Robert, we watched, I think we got through 15 seconds of that fucking Section 31 trailer.
No, we got through a minute. Yeah.
Like
Henry Cavill tried to say it. It's passion. We are the ones, like with Star Wars, that kept buying the books and the comics and the video games and kept it alive throughout the year. Star Trek, all of them, all the
that
things.
Part right there.
We have a right to talk about it, especially when they are used and abused. I always say it. I liken all of our franchises to action figures. They're cool no matter what. So even if you play with them badly, they'll still be fun. Even if they had badly adapted it, they would have all been good. But they didn't even do that. They took them and they set them on fire and made them all scissor together. And then they yelled at us when we said, bro, you're ruining our toys.
Right. They'd have been better off being lazy and just doing like the same shit over and over.
I thought that's what Disney would do. I thought they would just shamelessly rip off the expanded universe.
Yeah. Well, remember, because I said this, I was like, the thing with Disney, when people talked about Disney before, it was because they were safe. And what I meant by safe didn't necessarily mean, just the kiddie part of it. It was like, you knew exactly what to expect going into a Disney movie, right? They had a certain formula to them. You knew that you weren't going to get too much of any violence or sex or any of that kind of stuff. And nowadays, like I said, Disneyfied means you're probably going to see somebody get their dick sucked by another dude, right? Like that's.
I'd watch that Disney movie just to see it.
Well, you got two moms and everything. It's only the next logical step here, Robert.
Straight white.
Hold on. I'm going to wrap up these super chats. We have some questions. Mark, a reality member for 3 months. Do y'all like any of the titles from Image Comics? Anyone?
I'm not up on their current slate, but I used to love a lot of. I mean, when Image Comics started,
because we were talking about Superman earlier, Rob, and how Superman was is woke and was giving a lecture to Batman. in the new comics, Detective Comics.
Well, I mean, I do think that look at the rivalry that Superman and Batman had in The Dark Knight Returns. You know, when Superman was like a Reagan era, fascist, and Batman was not that way. You know, Batman had to take him out. But I don't mind. I think Batman and if they had made, I wish that Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice was just about Superman and Batman. As much as I like Gal Gadot in that movie, it would have been really interesting to have them have a battle of ethical principles in addition to how they ran their cities or whatever. It could have been
Walter Hamada for that. Like Snyder just wanted to do a standalone, and they made him do the
And the movie wrote itself, and that's the problem. Is you're right. Wonder Woman shouldn't have been there. I mean,
and then Doomsday, it was so overstuffed. When
exactly,
I could have watched the scene with Lex Luthor introducing Clark Kent and Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill when they're at his party. I could have watched that for 20 minutes. You know, of the two of them going back and forth.
Oh, yeah, that was a good scene.
Bagging on each other. I'm like, that's what I wanted to see.
And how much more poignant had it been more of a straightforward Batman versus Superman movie and not all this convoluted, overbloated
forcing them to team up. But yeah,
because I mean, and that was my issue with Man of Steel is like you could have fixed it. I was actually willing to give Batman v Superman a chance. I'm like, okay, I had a lot of issues with Man of Steel, but if you come back with this and explain some things, and Superman has some changes, and he realizes what happened in the first film is a problem through Batman. And all you had to do is have Batman, basically that speech that he gives to Alfred is perfect, right? He's like, even if there's a 1% chance that this guy is our enemy, we have to be prepared. And he has every reason in the world to be that way because like all he has to do is turn to Alfred and go, look, this motherfucker just demolished 2 towns.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at the opening of that movie is one of the coolest things ever when Bruce Wayne rolls into town to Metropolis when it's being attacked and he runs into the danger and
Batman would clearly treat this guy like a villain. He would not look at him like a good guy in any way, shape, or form. It would take a lot for him to realize that this guy is not a threat to us.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, bring up
to answer the guy's question really quickly. Yes, the last thing I read was Saga from Image Comics.
Oh yeah, me too.
Saga's
a hardcover. It's really good.
There's also another comic book called Sex Criminals, which is hilarious. It's about this girl who can stop time when she orgasms. And so, but she only gets 1 hour of time stop. So she goes on this crime spree. So she'll rub one out, right, and then she'll go on the crime spree, and then there's these time police who find out what she's doing, and it's a wild book, man. It's written by Matt Fraction, who he also did a great Iron Fist run at Marvel.
Fraction's great.
Really so the women's orgasm, so it's clearly fiction.
Robert, what are you wearing? You look like a military commander in sci-fi.
It's like some Star Trek or not Star Trek.
It's Monica Rambeau's. It's
I thought it was like Battlestar Galactica or something.
It's Sword from WandaVision.
I was wondering why you look so militarily. It kind of fetching on you.
It was
fetching.
All my other sweatshirts and stuff were they need to be laundered, and this was clean, hanging in the when I first saw WandaVision, I was like, I have to have that. This is Disney's genius. It got me. I'm like, I have to have that. Somebody's got to make that sweatshirt. I wanted the sweatshirt. By the way, this is the sweatshirt I was wearing when I fell asleep on a live stream for 5 hours. So if you see memes of me, it's like, it's real. It was this shirt. But this is actually really high quality. Sometimes Disney does a good job charging an arm and a leg for a shirt, but the quality is good.
Remember, she got her powers by walking through a energy wall. Wasn't that fun?
I mean, that's another thing. I loved the Captain Marvel. I love Monica Rambeau in the 80s. I loved her big fro. I loved everything. She was part of the Avengers. That's what I wanted to see.
That's not what they gave us, though.
I mean, but I don't understand. Like, the Carol Danvers character has never really worked as Captain Marvel in the comics.
No, she worked great as Miss Marvel.
That's when Rogue shows up. First appearance of Rogue, steals her powers. Brotherhood of Evil
kills her.
How do you not bring the fro back? They could have had Monica Rambeau go all out and make her an Avenger.
Well, they gave her the new age fro, right? Where it's kind of just wily and
I
she didn't have the 70s blaxploitation.
No, I
want to go all out and have Sylvester Stallone play Monica Rambeau.
All at once.
Anyway, I know we're off track, but
all right. Kenneth Dowling for $10. Terminator 2 is one of the greatest sci-fi action films of all time. Tom, I know you Cameron basically remade the first one. It's so much better than that. Just messing with you. Have a good day, guys.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. He knew exactly what he's doing. He didn't overcomplicate it.
And then from Eric K, King of the Mods, happy birthday, Robert Meyer Burnett.
I have to say, my own moderator on my channel actually mailed me a happy birthday, Rob card.
Hey, that's always good.
Squirrels fighting with rainbow lightsabers. What is that? That's
yes,
awesome.
it says on the inside, "May the fun be with you," and it's
Ooh,
squirrels
I like
fighting
that.
with lightsabers.
Nice.
But you know what? Like, here's another thing. The Scotch Doppel the Rogue Squadron Star Wars books. Those books are good. Why don't they adapt those? Why?
Well, Patty Jenkins, but she's not going to adapt those.
Why don't
books.
they
Yeah,
adapt
no, I know, but they
anything
could
from
have.
the
Anybody
past?
could have made those. Get Joe Kaczynski to do it. Top Gun in space.
They have a lot of
Oh, that'd be
stuff they could
amazing,
adapt.
man.
A lot of stuff they could adapt, but they just refuse to because we have Kathleen Kennedy there.
Top Gun in a galaxy far, far away.
I mean, and the X-Wing stay in space. No planetary activity. That's what speeders are for.
That's basically what Wedge Antilles turned into, was like a Top Gun type, and
yeah,
pretty much. Graph Web for $2 in the name of all that is holy. Cancel Disney Plus. He's back again every week, every stream. How can you not love him? Thank you, Graph Web, for that. Now, it seems that someone decided to wish everybody a Merry Christmas since it's coming up. And a few people in Hollywood, and of
All
course,
this shit is bananas.
Hashtag heroes on Twitter lost their minds.
Christmas season has always been my favorite time of the year. It's a season that we get to celebrate the birth of our Lord. This year, I'm excited to share that I've partnered with this amazing prayer, meditation, and music app called Hallow on their 25-day prayer challenge leading up to Christmas called Advent Pray 25. Join me and millions of other Christians around the world as we celebrate together the truth that God so loved the world that he gave us his only son. Download Hallow and join me in prayer.
Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but yeah.
So she's
right?
So she's a hollow back girl.
No, I'm saying that is Gwen Stefani, right?
Yeah, that's Gwen Stefani.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But the people were flipping out when you go through it, and you're like wondering, what you want to have Satanists coming out and saying something? Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's a good thing.
We've had Satanists come out and saying shit for the last
Sam
10
Smith
years.
and Nas, they literally dance with them on TV.
It's pretty
No, this
nice.
is kind of refreshing to see somebody like her who's actually pro-Christian, to be honest with you.
I agree. There was something else. It was a positive story. I don't know if a lot. She does look good. Come on, it's Gwen Stefani. She always.
She's still with Gavin Rossdale, or
I have no idea.
She's with that one country singer now, isn't she?
Yeah.
What's his name? Shit.
Blake something.
Shout out to Sander Hammerslag in the chat. Holy Batgirl.
I liked my Hallow Batgirl better, but that works too.
Back. And this
Hey, we got
story,
fucking the real Miles Morales here. Look at this shit.
Was getting to it. Yeah, she's we have this guy. I thought it was a positive story for everybody.
A man scaling a 19-story burning building in Philadelphia with the hopes of reaching his mother trapped inside.
I'm not just gonna sit there and let my mom die. I'd rather risk my life falling than let her sit in there and die.
Almost right. Real Miles Morales.
Sometime after 9:30 p.m., Jermaine received a call from his sister saying his 65-year-old immobile mother couldn't make it out of her apartment on the 15th floor. Jermaine rushed to the scene, but police
scaled
had blocked
15
off the front
floors.
door.
They said they was like, the elevator's not working. I'm like, no problem. I take the steps. I just want to go make sure my mother is sick. She bedridden. So I need to get up there.
But police wouldn't let Jermaine in. So despite having fractured his hip earlier that day, Jermaine
Wow.
let adrenaline
No
run,
shit.
climbing the building's fenced-in
No
balconies,
shit.
wire cutters in hand.
I was going to cut a hole in the fence to next door and then, to let her go through.
The fire was contained by the time he reached his mother's floor. She reassured him from the balcony that she was okay, and back down he went.
Was she yelling at you because you climbed outside?
She was more shocked. She really not. She don't be surprised at things I do to her. She know I go over and beyond for her.
So back down he went, expecting a quick arrest once on the ground.
Arrest
But
for
an
what?
understanding officer let him go.
So he actually did cut me a break because he understood the circumstances. And he knew, when you're adrenaline pumping your mom up there.
What the hell would they arrest you for? Going to save your mother? My God, I think he's a great.
Wow.
That's a mega chat. That is an alpha man who's like, I love my mama.
That's pretty amazing.
Come on.
Yeah.
Advanced trespassing.
It's a beautiful thing. And then you had, okay, Squid Game is coming out soon.
Oh yeah,
second season, which I can't wait.
The trailer looks great.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet. But what I caught is there seems to be 2 stories that have come out within a few days of each other. If I can find where the hell I put it. Yeah, here we go. So there seems to be a little bit of backlash. Squid Game season 2 sparks backlash after cis man cast as trans woman. So people are complaining that one of the characters in the show joins the game so they could get surgery, right?
Yep, that's the plot.
Well,
right.
But isn't that what a cis man does when they want to become a trans woman?
Right, but what are they saying? So and this is written by Pink News, right? So they're saying like, why? We have people who are like, why not give the role to an actual trans?
Yeah, what Rob said though, are they just assuming that all men who become women aren't cis?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a what I'm saying is like, don't all trans women first eventually start as a man?
Yes.
Yeah. That doesn't mean they're all gay, and doesn't mean they're all
I mean, did anyone see like Dog Day Afternoon?
I guess the rub would be they actually want to find someone who identifies and has like some form of body dysmorphia instead of just a guy who's an actor. I also think they should hire murderers. I don't want to see anyone committing murder on screen unless it's by a real murderer.
I want to see the bodies. If you ain't got bodies, you don't get this
real aliens.
Hire you. But
we've lost the plot.
That's such a bizarre. This whole line of thinking is so weird that people, those same people say, well, a person doesn't have to be a dog. Like Hugh Laurie doesn't even speak English. I mean, he doesn't even speak. He's a Brit. He doesn't have our accent.
Correct. He didn't speak American.
No, he doesn't speak American.
Doesn't have an American accent.
Should you not hire a Brit to play an American because they're not really an American?
No,
most of our actors are done for, man. Because
see, the problem is, it's like they'll be really disingenuous and they'll say some shit like, "Well, then race swapping should be okay then, and sex swapping should be okay then if it doesn't really matter, And it's like, no, God, come on.
They try to do that, but then they miss out. They're missing out on showing their own ass here, right? Like I just said, and like kind of what Robert was getting to begin with. They're automatically assuming that just because somebody decides they're going to be a trans woman, it doesn't mean they're gay or bi or anything like that. They can still be straight or cis.
Yeah,
and they transition.
Yeah, that's
like that. That's the other thing they're showing their ass on again too already. So it's like, yeah,
because when there are trans women that declare themselves as lesbians.
I know. I still find that
exactly.
I find that whole thing insane.
The reason why I don't have so much. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say I find that insane. It's like, oh, they want to be a man, but they're like the women. But
we
just got to call out their hypocrisy. Yeah.
Come on.
The reason why I don't have a big problem with this for this show is because if they're going by the rules of the first game, everybody in the Squid Game is despicable. Everyone who participates in the game are despicable people. So even though this person's playing a trans person, that most likely that guy who's trying to transition is a despicable person.
Well, forget, because now you're answering our side that would criticize it and say they're pushing trans agenda. Let's see how quick he lasts and what the statistic is.
Right.
This is about reporting.
But he's not going to be a good guy, is what I'm saying.
It's not about the show. This is about reporting and how it's being reported. This is about news. So you just saw that article. You just saw that article from Big News. The headline, right? This actor says only trans characters should play trans people should play trans.
But you know what? You know what's like
5 days earlier, same news. Like L.J. Rodriguez, trans actors playing straight roles in the question. I know, but that's what I'm saying. So they have the same company, the same magazine putting out, here's an article that says only trans should play trans. And a few days before, they're saying, hey, wait a minute, trans can play any role.
Right.
Like which is
they're hypocrites, George.
Right. That's what I want to point out. That's like to me is disgusting.
And you know what? That kind of nonsense is what makes people like, number one, not even want to rock with you. Like, we don't even want to deal with your ideology because it's so far off base. But it also like hampers their own industry because I want to say there was a movie that Scarlett Johansson was supposed to make, and they ended up pulling the plug on that because they kicked up this giant stink. Oh, Scarlett Johansson that character should be played by a trans person. And it's like, okay. And there was an entire story about, I guess, a trans, I forget what it was, I need to look it up, but
it was about a tree. It was about something involving a tree. And because they said she's not trans, she can't play the character. Then the whole thing got scrapped. She's like, great. You have to.
Because she's not trans, even though the character is based on a real story. And I guess what was it?
It was she was going to play a character named Dante Tex Gill in the film Rub and Tug. Now here's what's really interesting about that. Let's go back to the early 90s. The film Philadelphia that nabbed Tom Hanks an Oscar for playing a gay lawyer dying of AIDS. That film, we still, at the time, the AIDS epidemic was still ravaging the country. There was not a lot, the sympathy was not there. That one film, you had Denzel Washington was playing all of us. The performances in that movie, when Tom Hanks goes to Denzel, there's a great scene where Denzel he's trying to suppress his revulsion. He won't shake the guy's hand. It's that film did more to advance the cause of people understanding or feeling sympathy for those who were suffering from AIDS. Today, you'd have activists coming out. The reason that movie got made, Jonathan Demme was a gay man who directed it. The reason that movie got made is because Denzel Washington and Tom Hanks starred.
If Robert Tom said he wouldn't do it today.
Yeah, and I know. And that's because people, the thing is that movie's existence did more to generate sympathy for people that were suffering what was happening with AIDS. And it wasn't just men, but they'd been so stigmatized that people, that film, how much help did that film do to the community at large?
I've brought it up many a times. Yeah. And this is, like I said, this is what Hollywood used to do, but you're right. They're on the other end of the spectrum now.
That was my point, is that you could have helped the cause if that movie gets made by Scarlett Johansson. This
instead now it doesn't get made because she's not in the movie.
Because these jackasses want to scream and cry. And it's like, hey, time out. You're hurting yourselves, by the way. I don't care. I'm probably, it's not going to affect me, but it might actually help you. But because they want to scream and cry, look what it does. Now you don't, like what Rob is saying, you don't get the sympathetic, folks watch like, oh, I kind of understand your position now. That's what they're losing out on because they're pushing their nonsense so damn hard.
Remember Boys Don't Cry?
Yeah,
not make that.
That wouldn't get made today either. And that's the same thing. That was the same.
Brokeback Mountain.
But they can't have it both ways. They can't have it both ways. That's my point. That's why I was pointing it out. You can't be like, trans can do all of these roles. You can't do these roles, but we can. No. You keep pointing it out to go, this is why this is bullshit. You call out the hypocrisy. And from the same magazine, I'm like, did they not have an editor who's like, you can't write these pieces? Pick. Either everybody's an actor and can do anything or not, because to me, it makes them look exactly what they are.
Well, and it's also financial. If there was a trans actor that brought in box office, nobody would have a problem with hiring those people. But there just isn't one. When you're spending millions, if not tens of millions of dollars making a film, you need a Scarlett Johansson that'll bring people in to see the film. Mm-hmm. You have to have some known commodity. And that's, by the way, true of any movie. Yeah, you can't get a movie made. I mean, there's a list of people that the studios want to see in films that they know they can bankroll. Otherwise, they can't get the films financed. And that's also a reality. And this idea that, and those activists, when they prevented Rub and Tug from getting made, like you said, DA, that was the end of that. And who knows what that film could have done for their own community? They'll never know now because they shouted it down.
Besides, everybody lost the job. How many people? The crew, the set,
that's just
the
it.
catering.
Yeah. They think that their screaming and hollering was going to get an actual trans person hired. No, all it did was lose the funding for that film.
Yep,
and they can't say it had anything to do with the film itself, because the same exact thing happened to the Bill Murray movie. That what's his face? That comedian was supposed to be his directorial debut. God, I just forgot his name.
Aziz Ansari.
Aziz Ansari. Thank you. And Keke Palmer come out and put that story out about Bill Murray making, lewd jokes or whatever it was on the set. And they got him canceled over it, or semi-canceled over it. And they got him fired from the movie. And guess what? The movie didn't happen because they lost their damn funding. Because the movie only got funding because of, guess who? Bill Murray. Because nobody gives a shit about who Keke Palmer is.
No. But that's why this was interesting. You had Piers Morgan debated, of course, Neil deGrasse.
I just wanted to say it wasn't
Neil
something that
looks
was just delegated to that. That was my
Looks
point.
rough. He got it. I mean, he just realized that he got owned.
What I
He needs
see
to have,
is
like, a protein
sports is on the frontier of how to handle this frontier of people who are trans. It's on the frontier of how to resolve that. And I'm making this up now. Imagine the future of sports does not distinguish sex. It distinguishes and sorts people by hormone ratios. I'm making this up, but imagine that if that were the case. That would be interesting. You get a hormone test, you're in this range, and then you compete against other people with the same range of
That's
hormones.
ridiculous.
That's
Neil, that is ridiculous.
No, it's not. I'll tell you why it's
You're
not
going to give
ridiculous.
every
Hold on.
single
I used to
person in
wrestle.
sport a hormone.
Can I ask to see this guy's doctorate?
Hold on.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Chromosomes is what you go by.
He's the same, or he's the member. He said this after Heavy Rocket. After
Look at
Elon
how
Musk
upset
dropped.
he's getting there too.
Right, but
He's
after
like
Heavy
shaking.
Rocket, you remember when Heavy Rocket? What was it? 6 weeks ago when Musk had that chopsticks grab it. He came out 24 hours later. DeGrasse Tyson said, "Well, that really wasn't a big deal. NASA could have done that 50 years ago. They just didn't apply for the funding. They just didn't spend the money." It was like, can you? And I think Musk had said he responded was like jealous much. No, it's ridiculous. He goes on here, so we don't watch the whole thing.
Muscle mass, all those things. If you just take one criteria of hormones, you're not allowing all that. I'll give an example. Caitlyn Jenner, who obviously, hang on. I'm going to finish my point. Let me finish my point. Caitlyn Jenner was a Olympic male decathlon gold medal winner. Caitlyn is a big golf fan, and when she started playing golf after she transitioned, she was allowed to play off the women's tees, which are 50 yards further than the men's tees. And she quickly realized that she was still smashing it 300 yards down, and obviously was then beating all the women that she played. So she now plays back off the male tees because her biology is that of a man. And I feel that was the most honest way to deal with it. I also feel that if you want to have a separate category, have a trans category, or have trans women compete against men, which is their biology. Isn't that the scientific way to resolve this?
I don't have a solution. What I started this section of the conversation by saying
You got your ass
that
handed to
how
you.
you handle trans athletes is a frontier in sports that does not yet have a full solution. And so, and
Yes,
I
it
made up
does.
an example, like
really
maybe
does.
you could.
It does. He continues, and then Piers Morgan calls him out, saying, "You've dug
So
yourself into a
disingenuous.
hole." He's like, "You dug yourself into a hole, and you don't know how to get out of it." Just like he was like, "Stop."
I believe UFC and Bellator and other sports are going to start testing chromosome count. I mean X, Y, XX, one or the other. And then if there's some sort of weird intersex splice thing, that would be a case by case basis.
You put the worst boxer in the ring with the best female fighter, and I guarantee you she's going to get knocked out. Like
we basically saw that already. Yeah.
But also, I mean, think about the skeletal structure, which doesn't
All of it.
change. I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking about reach, you're talking about hip size.
Yep.
It's not just and here's what I don't understand that I find about this whole debate. Why is it not just understood that people are different? Like our biology, even if you want to change your mind, which is essentially what you're doing, you can't change the physical structure of your being. And if you're a man that transitions to a woman, look at all the men that are look at all the trans women that are competing in women's sports. They tower over there.
Yes.
I mean, they're physically so different. They don't physically resemble most women in the sport. And
they're bigger, they're faster.
They're bigger. And you look at that and you're like, why is this an issue? I don't even understand how this has become a thing in our culture. If you take performance enhancing steroids, you get kicked out of the Baseball Hall of Fame, or whatever. And why is it that we understand this? I don't even understand how this has even become the issue that it's become, as if it's somehow
because that's how they change society.
Robert, I'll tell you how. Because women haven't spoken up enough. Women defend this shit. Women defend this shit way more than men do.
I think they used to. I think they used to.
This is going to change. Women as a whole, not just Riley Gaines and 2 other women. Women as a whole are going to have to come together and say, we're done with this. We will stop competing altogether if we have to compete against a guy.
Yeah,
until they do that all together, then
also though, I would hope that trans women would also speak up, because it's not sportsmanlike or sportsperson-like. You know, they know that they have an advantage.
Why would they do that? Look,
why
would you? Why? No, I get what you're saying. They should, but you're talking about honor and character. And what I mean by this is, you remember who was the swimmer at that university with Riley Gaines?
Leah Thomas.
Right, okay. When you looked at that swimmer's career before the change and got on the girls' team, he was losing. Everything was a loss. Jumps on the girls' team, all of a sudden victory, victory, victory. People are looking at their own short-term goals there, how it impacts them, not how it impacts everybody else.
No, I know.
Volleyball players has brain damage. Brain damage. That shouldn't be allowed. We saw the Olympics, a woman getting the hell beat out of her. Come on. If this was
I just don't look, and then to question this, to have informed debate.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're being, branded an ist or a phobe, or it's just, I don't like the fact that we now live in a culture where people are not mature enough to sit down and actually have an open, honest dialogue or conversation
100%
about
agree.
these issues without being branded like if we can't talk to each other about issues that involve science, that involve actual measurable, quantifiable data, who are we?
Again, man,
because it's about feelings, Rob. It's not about actual facts. It's about their feelings.
They're
that's
on
the
the
reason
right
why
side
they
of
can't have
history.
these conversations, and that's the reason why they try to shut it down with hate, with fear. I'm going to dox you. Look what they've done to J.K. Rowling because of what she says, and that's the only weapon they really have against the facts. I gotta use basically terroristic type tactics to try to shame you and silence you and shut you up. And so I'm going to call you this name, that name. I'm going to threaten you. I'm going to do all that stuff because that's all they got. You can't have a rational conversation with these people. Because
Robert, to even have a conversation would be to acknowledge there was a problem and that their ideology was maybe, you know what I'm saying? They think they're right. They're on the right side of history. So the conversation was like, why would I entertain the conversation at all? I'm not a transphobe or a bigot. And so on.
No, I'm telling you, it goes back to the fact that women have to be the ones to put a stop to this, man. I saw a video because they're the ones who defend this. I saw a video yesterday, and I just put it in the.
I got it.
Yeah, I put it in the chat, George. I mean, you could cue it up right now.
Okay.
It's this ridiculous dating show on YouTube where they get these contestants and the women or the guys, depending on who's being pursued, all have a balloon, right? And if they don't like what the guy says or how he looks, they pop their balloon. So this guy immediately pops the trans woman's balloon, like right off the bat. He's like, "No, we're not doing this." Watch how the other women react, though. Go ahead and play it.
Yeah, this is very telling.
But now in solidarity, they all pop their balloons. Like,
yeah,
women tolerate this shit. Women are the ones who.
Notice though, Verbal, that the women who don't tolerate it are usually the women in fucking sports, because they're the ones who are being competed against, and they're the ones who are getting their asses kicked.
This isn't going to stop.
So because he popped that trans woman's balloon, the other women are like, "Well, I don't like you either," and they pop their balloons. And this is what I'm saying. They're the ones who support this. They're the ones who back this. Yep. And until they all decide, we're done, then there's nothing we can do as men.
We can just keep bringing it up. But what was the team, the college team that forfeited? They said, we're not going to play. And they had made it all the way to the finals. They said, we're not going to play when you have a trans on the other side because, it just happened 2 weeks ago.
It was a volleyball team, right?
Was it volleyball or basketball? Because it's happening more and more. And I said this a long time ago when Verbal and I first started talking, when he first came on here the very first time on Slayer Nation, we said the way to end this is for all the women's teams across all the sports to go, cool, we're not going to participate. You know why? That ends it. Because then you're not going to have anybody to come watch them, which means no money, which means no sponsors, which means it's over with. It has to come
cut off the money and
it's over.
I kind of like this all trans teams ideas. Now this is watchable shit.
Let them have trans.
I want to see this stuff. This could be like a fucking train wreck.
Yeah, nobody ever said take it. Nobody ever said take anything away. Go.
Can you think about trans football?
Over there?
Well, it's weird because what I don't understand is if you become something different than what you were, whatever that is, if you become something different, you alter what it is, maybe the way you think, you change over. You're not the same person that you were before, and you don't become entirely something else. You don't decide one day. You can't make a transition where part of you is one thing and part of you is another. And yet we're asking people literally it is the binary, the male and the female. You need a man and a woman to procreate. The very basis of life is if you have sexual reproduction, and we can tie ourselves in all kinds of knots to try and get away from that. But biologically, you have to have both to reproduce.
But what is a woman, Robert? We're not biologists. We don't even know. You know what I'm saying? They can't.
Yeah,
even...
of course. And it's like, look, I can think of myself in many different ways, but I'll tell you what I can't do. I can't bear a child. I cannot, no matter what I want to think, no matter what I want to believe, I personally do not have I might want, just like I can't be LeBron James. I can't bear a child. No matter what I do, no matter what I say, no matter what I think, until our surgical technology becomes as advanced as I can somehow.
You have to change your chromosomes.
Somebody's going to have to put their womb inside of me, their ovaries and all that. Maybe it could work out. But
coming soon.
I'm sure it's coming soon. But and I don't understand why this particular one issue has become so divisive. And so
I think you know.
Well, no, but I mean,
they're using it as a wedge. This is their beachhead. They take a beachhead. They go, this is what we want to do. Just take a look at it. Trans is just one aspect of it.
Of course.
Look at this.
And it's easy to manipulate women emotionally, so they have a hard time, and that's kind of the point of that video that we just watched, right? Like, they have a hard time, like, being mean to anybody. And because they see it as being mean, right? Like, that's their rationale for this. It's like, no, it's called fucking reality. Right. Like, it's like,
that's what we're really missing is common.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden like the world just decided that we're going to let the world be run by the big sister who's just fucking decides that everybody gets to do everything and be everything they think they get to be. And you can't say anything about anything ever. Even when somebody goes, I'm going to grow up and be a fucking shark. It's like, you can't be a shark, you dumbass. And then so the world's now run by the big sister goes, he can be a shark if he wants to. You don't have to be so rude and mean. It's like, no.
Are you shark phobic?
Yeah, why are you shark phobic? No, fucking reality is he's never going to be a shark. I dare him to go dunk his head in the toilet for 5 minutes and see how that turns out. We'll see if he can become a shark when he grows up. Like, that's the kind of attitude I would have, and I'd be the asshole for it.
Right. It's part of the entire destruction of Western culture. Just take a look at this. This happened in June. Outrage in Germany as judge jails a woman, 20 years old, for sending online insults to a gang of rapists. She insulted rapists. That's it. Men who are actually convicted, not alleged, convicted. But she ends up going to jail. It rots society. That rots society. Come on, when you and I were growing up, Robert, if somebody had said something about rapists, the whole neighborhood would be cheering. They'd be like, "Did you beat the shit out of them?" Not jailing.
Well, I also think, like, the human animal, we do have mutations, and they're all different kinds of things that happen to. It would not surprise me in our future if medical science will finally define the fact that people who do suffer from gender dysphoria, they might very well have the brain, a male body might contain a brain that has the brain chemistry of a female. I could absolutely believe that happens because people that are in the womb can be more estrogen or more testosterone. They're exposed to that in utero, in vitro, whatever. And your brain, gender dysphoria is actually real. I honestly believe this, that in the future we'll be able to measure that, and you'll be able to say, you know what, you're born trans, and then you can start to deal with that issue from a very early age. And have the medical science to back it up. I think that's actually
dysphoria.
Well, we could, but let's look at the financial component. Before 2000, do you know that the people who claim gendered? Sorry, Rob,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Before 2000, it was 1 out of 400,000 Americans. 1 out of 400,000 that had gender dysphoria. You start watching 2001, 2004, it starts jumping 1 out of 200, 1 out of 100,000, 1 out of 75,000. Till this year, you're talking about an industry that in 1995 generated somewhere that it's considered, because most of the things were kept, because they're private, because of HIPAA laws. It's estimated that with surgeries, which were most breast reductions or augmentations, either way, 15 to 25 million. This year, it's cresting 3 billion. You're talking, think about it. And they're like, they want it to go where?
But
10,
it's still
20. That's where
it still makes me always.
Yeah.
So somebody's saying that I believe in science fiction. No, I believe that we don't have all the science. There's a lot about the natural world we don't understand. We don't even understand consciousness. So it is not. I'm just saying that speculatively. I'm saying in the future, it is possible that we might be able to isolate. Look, I've met people. I've had LGBT friends since I was 13 years old. One of my oldest friends that we grew up with since we were born, basically. It was clear to me before he came out, before he even realized or came to grips with this, I knew he was gay. I knew he was gay. And I still loved him like a brother, but he didn't realize he was gay until after he got out of college.
Had a friend from high school and a family member very close. I was like, oh yeah, they're gay.
Well,
and like,
you'll have
ended up
that.
coming out.
And the thing is, that was complete, but that was naturally occurring. That was something that you could see that they were born this way. And they hadn't come to grips with it yet, but we knew. And I do think that there's nothing to say that gender dysphoria is something that I believe could exist only because of other human mutations that don't follow the norm. It's not, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to believe that gender dysphoria will have, not all, because I think a lot of people have jumped on that bandwagon. I think part of the problem that we see is that people are declaring themselves, whether they want to be fish people or believe that they're a bird or a dog. There's a lot more going on with all of this gender ideology than just, but I think there's actual medical conditions for some people at the base of all this that we can't stop doing the research for, because a lot of this has become weird and tribal and like anything else. I mean, everybody what does non-binary mean?
Right. It means nothing. It means,
well, I agree. If anything, we need to do twice as much research here, because this is my, like, I was trying to get this point in, is because I have a lot of friends too that happen to be gay, and a few that are trans as well. And here's my issue with that is, of maybe the one or two that I could sit here and say, yeah, they probably were born that way and everybody kind of knew from the start, there's a large percentage that had some traumatic episode happen to them in their lifetime. And I think that is the pinpointing problem. And I think we have a bigger problem with the medical industry right now in this, where they're not dealing with the issues and they're just affirming this stuff. And this is where the jump that you were getting at, George, and the amount of people that are doing this to themselves, that's the problem here.
It's also a social contagion, especially among young girls, and with celebrities, it's Munchausen by proxy disease, where look at all my trans kids, look how brave and stunning I am.
Oh, wait, I have a clip for that. Annette Bening went in front of the Supreme Court this week, as well as Paige, and she said it was two words that really drove me up a tree. One of the things she said was, ever since, because I think she said she has 4 children, ever since my one child revealed that, she was not a she, but he was a he, she goes, do you know that I felt special? I am now special. It's about me. It's like, what? She feels special. Annette Bening feels special that her kid is trans.
Said the quiet part out loud.
Right. And it's nutty. But then you have from RuPaul's drag show, it says someone named Peppermint. This is where the problem comes, Robert. It's because when it talks about children, it meaning the conversation.
I think it really does revolve around access to healthcare between a doctor and their patient and the parents of the child. Being able to have access to the type of healthcare that is available for all types of people, whether they're trans or whether they are cis, which is non-trans. And this court case specifically is asking the question, is it fair to discriminate against transgender people and limit access to care because they are trans.
Care,
And
like
that's basically
surgery
what
and
the
puberty
consequence.
blockers for children, and yeah.
Right. It's
care, health
They
care.
go on. They go
You know
on.
what?
And they don't have a
They
problem.
need to start calling this elective surgery. That's part of the
Yeah,
problem. here.
Jesus Christ.
They don't have the
Yeah.
right to a female OBGYN. That, you know what I mean? It's like this
Also-
is the problem is they're trying to normalize this so much, right? But the thing is, a trans woman doesn't have the same biology, obviously, as a normal regular woman. So, and yes, I'm using those words specifically because that's what it is. They're normal
Crazy
regular
talk.
women. We don't have the same physiology, man. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to make like these female gynos, basically gynecologists, look at them like inspect their balls for them
And play make believe.
Yes, play make believe, right? And wasting these doctors' time when they could be servicing an actual woman.
Actual women. Yeah.
But not only that, we have no data on what puberty blockers do to people on a long-term basis.
Actually, we do. England released it. They did a 15-year study on the whole thing. We have one that the New England Journal of Medicine shelves 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was supposed to come out. Everybody wants to bury it. Europe is, for some reason, ahead of us. Like they're saying, nope, made big boo-boo.
Well, yeah, no, it's true, but still, I mean, but the long-term ramifications beyond 15 years. What about 30 years, 40 years, 50 years?
We have that from rapists.
I was going to say that's where the test would come from, the PDFs and others that get that given to them. Yes.
For 40 years they had it. They've been using the same medicine on.
But on someone young, completely bypassing or pausing their puberty at the most vital moments of growth, and what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean that's terrifying. I mean, if you thought about it, if you take away the idea of the trans issue, would you ever want to prevent the human body from developing properly?
No.
If we did it to eunuchs.
To get involved into that's one thing where you're actually I guess removing a part of the body to stop something from occurring. But that is a great example. You do that and the body doesn't develop in certain ways. Like and that's that you get I guess a desired outcome. But the idea that we're going to interfere with the normal physiology of the human body as it's developing it's to me that's nightmarish.
It is. It's sci-fi crazy stuff. It's nuts.
Well, that's where the affirmation goes from just being affirmation to literal like pressure.
But my whole thing is, look, can't we just have a discussion? Can't we all get
No,
together?
they don't want that. I agree.
We can, but they can't. They don't want to have any. And this is why I said, because the first thing they would do is they'd freak out the moment I say it's not healthcare, it's fucking elective surgery.
Yeah.
They would lose their ever loving fucking minds the moment I said that, and I'd be like, no. Tell me anything about it that is life-saving. And then they'll go into all their stupid bullshit about suicide and shit like that and all that stuff. And I'll be like, no, fucking give me some reality here. Like you just said, Robert.
They can't give you reality. That's the problem. I keep saying it. It's feelings, okay? They want you to affirm their mental illness. And that's the reason why they're never going to pull the plug on it or give up on it. That's what they're looking for you to do. And they're going to keep pushing that until somebody finally says, no. The answer is no. You're a man or you are a woman. That's the way you were born. That's biological. That's just the way it is. And until we start standing up for it, they're going to keep doing this. That's all they want to do is they just want you to confirm and affirm their mental illnesses. They have a problem. They need to be on somebody's couch or discussing this with someone else. They don't need to have all of this stuff. Hey, let's go ahead and give them all the medications that they want. They need. No, that's the wrong approach. And
would you give the
been able to monetize these people's mental illnesses and, just say, okay, we can give them a cocktail of drugs and we can change their bodies, this, that, and the third. They're just going to keep on going. Okay, they gave us this much. All right, well, what else can we get? Well, let's see if we can play sports. It's like they're just going to keep doing it until somebody.
If you're an adult, you want to do this yourself, I don't give a shit, but I don't see why healthcare has to pay for it.
No,
that's my problem.
Would you give a schizophrenic? Would we start affirming schizophrenics who's like they go to the doctor's office? You know what? I see 7-foot bunnies, wielding dual machetes. Oh, okay, yeah, that actually exists. It's real. No, you would go. It's time for treatment. It's time.
But actually, George,
what you just said. That's why we
now, though.
That's why we normally don't let kids decide this shit, but yet that's exactly what they're fucking doing. That's the bigger problem here. Let's get real down to the nitty gritty here. Because
actually, we can go even further than that, man. Because a lot of these poor kids, man, this is like Munchausen kind of shit, right? Like they don't even have a choice. Like these parents are making the decision for them.
That's why I said Annette Bening. Annette Bening was stating there saying, we got to stop the Supreme Court, Donald Trump, all this stuff that's coming down the line. Because the court has that case of Tennessee. And they're looking at it. It's supposed to be revealed later.
Kids like feeling special.
And so all of a sudden she's like, I feel special. I feel unique. I'm blessed by this thing. That's what she was pushing. That was her angle the entire time. Like, this isn't something wrong. This is like, you should do it. You should get your kids. That's the feeling that you got from the entire thing.
Look, I'm with Tom on this. If you're a grown ass adult, I don't care what you do. If you
exactly.
Nobody cares about adults.
I don't care, man. I mean, you have to understand. I live in LA. None of this
live and let live.
New.
Tell us about it, Verbal. I know
exactly. This is new. It's
nobody cares about
and
it.
And they try to make it seem like it's so new, but it's like Tom said, man. With Dog Day Afternoon, I mean, we've been talking about these topics for decades now. It's like this isn't anything new.
I'm surprised that movie hasn't gotten canceled yet.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Nobody's going back and watching
Robert.
early 70s movies.
That's the problem. I've been saying this for a while. That's if God forbid they actually start watching some of these movies, because first of all, they'd see we've been diverse for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And then they'd start finding problems with a lot of this shit.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of movies like that. Yeah, I'm surprised. But Verbal, tell us the truth, Verbal. What was your experience that night when you were drunk with that woman? And our man, was it in high heels?
Wait, what?
Dude looked like a lady? What?
Does that dude look like a lady? Weren't you talking one time? Was it you said there was somebody at a bar? Or was that
Eddie Murphy
no. I was no. You're right. I was bartending.
Yes.
Yeah, I was bartending, and this was right before the apocalypse. Actually, this was like around 2019, going into 2020.
Right.
Yeah, I was bartending at this bar in downtown, and so it's a busy bar, man. It's a Friday night, it's packed. People in there, and as a bartender, man, you just got to be like, you have to almost be on autopilot, right? And so. This couple comes in, and usually, the go-to for bartenders when new customers come in is like, let them acknowledge them, let them know, hey, you'll be with them in a minute, but you have other people to take care of. So I did that. I put the hand up and said, hey, I see you, but give me a minute.
Get back to a second.
So I make the drinks for, my customers. Like I finally go to this couple, and I look at the guy, and I'm like, hey man, what can I get you? You know what I mean? And that's exactly how I said it. And turns out he was a trans woman, and he was like, pissed off that I made him, basically, and the chick he was with was like, how dare you? And she's like, where's your manager? Asked to speak to my manager.
Ugh.
So I had to go in at the busiest time of the night. I had to go find my manager, let him know what happened, and so they're sitting there grilling him, giving him just a third degree, and talking about how they're going to write us up on Yelp and all these other things and blah blah blah. And so he plays along, and he's like, hey, I'm going to discipline him. I'm going to take him to the back. So we go to the back. Me and him do some shots. He's like, dude, he's like, fuck these people. He's like, go back to work, man. He's like, I just wanted to pull you out so they saw it. He's like, but
gotcha. But the whole point is no one cares.
He's like, you did nothing wrong, dude. It's like, that was a goddamn man. That was a man. Yeah. And he had a 5 o'clock shadow, bro. Like, come on. No.
But don't you sometimes just say, hey, man, what can I do for you? I say, hey, man, to everybody.
That's the way I took it. Exactly.
And that's a hey, man, and bro.
It's a natural reflex, man. And
it's like you're not. And here's what I find frustrating about this is that I don't know anybody. Like, you're in a position where there's a million people coming around. But why is it incumbent upon you to suddenly have to understand or know what anybody else at one time is thinking or feeling, or how they perceive themselves, or how they want to be? We don't live in a world where that is the norm.
Well, the problem is, Rob, is that this happens a lot to service people now.
Yeah, I know. And
this happens a lot.
And you see people,
waiters, bartenders.
There's that one person that puts, I don't know her name. But,
Buffalo Bill. I know which one you're talking about.
But always putting those videos up to try and get service people in trouble.
What are you talking about? I don't know this.
There's this person, a trans woman that's online. Okay. She was also at Disneyland talking about getting her balls.
What?
She's at Disneyland having a conversation about getting.
She's
her,
a groomer, dude.
Her eyes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. And there's done a lot of videos, and it's like I'm watching this person try and getting service people in trouble.
Yeah,
and you're expecting service people to understand and know all, and that's unfair. You can't expect the world. My father used to tell me that my father was the nicest guy in the world, and he liked everybody. But he would say to me, when you step outside our house,
yeah,
you have to expect the world is going to kick your ass.
Yeah,
you can't expect anything to come from the world out there. You need to armor up and you need to be ready to deal with it, because whatever is out into the world out there, you need to be ready and prepared. And you can't expect the world to care or even like you. And I always thought that was kind of harsh, but my dad was such a nice guy, but he was very pragmatic, and he was very he had a lot of common sense.
He was preparing you for life.
100%.
Yeah.
And he liked people. Like I never heard my father say a bad word about anybody. And he was a vice president of an insurance company. He could have been very embittered, but he loved people. He'd go to a party. My dad would stroll around the room and meet everybody. He'd want to meet everybody. He didn't care what shape, size, color, creed, religious preference, sexuality. He just liked people. And I kind of take after him in that sense. But he also was like, nope, they're going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
And he knew that, but he still liked people anyway.
And it's become trendy now for, people who are in that community to basically harass service people, man. And it kind of goes back to what DA said, man. These people have to be affirmed every second of the day. They have to be affirmed that they are what they believe in their head to be, right?
You know why? It's because it's like you have broken toys that want to break the entire world so they can feel normal. That's it.
Well, not only that, they go after
the end of the day.
Elite and the rich, but yet they treat people below them that they see below them, just like people that they see it's really fucked up in the way they do this shit. But here's the problem, Verbal. There was a quick out of there. You said, "Oh, you think I said man?" I said ma'am.
You know what? I could have, but I was busy, man. I didn't have time for all that shit. And it's like, and look, here's the thing. It's funny because
you're easygoing. You don't care about that stuff.
If that guy had passed,
mm-hmm.
I probably would have said, "Hey, ladies," right?
That's the unwritten rule, right? If you could pass, no one says shit.
It was obviously a man for me to say that, right? Like if Blair White came to the bar, like by instinct, I would have been like, "Excuse me, miss, I'll be with you in a minute," right?
I totally hit on Blair White
because she passes, and even he's saying she because she goes out of the way to pass, right? But this was a dude. This was a GameStop. No, it's ma'am kind of a guy,
I get
right?
it.
Like this was a big dude. Okay, it's like, give me a break, man.
And also, but they've come.
You're bigger than me.
They've come into your place of work. Your place of employment, and I understand it's a bartender, it's a service economy and all of that, but you can't expect the idea that somebody expects the world to look upon them and expect the world to know who and what they are isn't fair.
And I thought they were kidding when they asked my manager. I was like, funny, about, and they were dead serious, man. And the chick was even more annoying than the dude who was offended.
And now they're going to try and get you in trouble at your place of work.
Yes,
they're going to
interfere with out itself by naming all the people that pass.
Well, and Verbal just proved the point that the allies are generally more of the problem than the actual people themselves.
Always.
So let's be clear about that.
The allies are the worst.
Always. All right, I'm going to catch these up. We'll start wrapping up. Eric K for $5. Face it, 500 years from now, scientists will still be able to dig up Michelle Obama and say, "Hey, that's a man. It was Big Mike."
God.
And then Eric,
I'm sorry. I hear that all the time. Like, do people really believe that this woman is a guy? Like,
no, I think it's like probably.
I'm starting to.
It's a meme now. It's a joke.
Yeah, but it's probably as true as Richard Gere and the gerbil that he named Hank.
It's funny because I was just going to say I'm starting to believe it about as much as that, because at this point you're starting to go, well.
I will say this: we didn't have the internet, but somehow that went all around to every school.
Oh, everybody!
And that's what
knew
makes
that.
you wonder. Exactly. Yeah.
That.
It's
of course,
like,
it made me curious. I'm like, how does that feel?
Yeah, so did the Marilyn Manson stuff.
So fast, man.
So did the Marilyn Manson stuff, like that he had his ribs removed and all that kind of crap, like all that.
And that
stuff.
he was the kid from the Wonder Years.
His Wonder Years.
Yeah. No. He was the kid from Mr. Belvedere.
Mr.
Now it's that one. See, so you heard a variant. See, there you go.
It was the Wonder Years for us.
It was the Wonder Years for us. Yeah.
How did that work? Have you ever thought about this? Like, no internet, but somehow
it's called Purple Monkey Dishwasher, motherfucker. We kids knew how to talk.
I know, but it's
because you knew a guy who knew a guy in another town, and y'all talked. The same thing with the girl. The girls spread it farther than the men.
It was
right?
always that. Tom just hit it. I knew a guy who saw a guy who knew a guy that exactly. Oh my!
You know, my cousin in Albuquerque knows a guy that actually met the guy.
Yeah,
that's right. He knew the guy, the real guy,
the guy. Yeah, FK for $5. I identify as Lord Master, and Man of War, Neighbor of the Beast will address me as such from now on. Say, Man of War. I guess that's your new job. Blitzen gifted 10 Georgia Giant Slayer memberships. Thank you, Blitzen. Really appreciate that. Bless you, my friend. And for you. Thank you. That's beautiful. Everybody, please go thank Blitzen. And then we have also Mouse World 666 gifted 5 Georgia Giant Slayer memberships. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. Mouse World, thank you so much. Everybody, get out there. Thank Mouse World. Mouse World can't wait. Blitzen can't wait till we have our membership stream this Wednesday, and then we'll do a little one again on Saturday. This week I couldn't do it because I had a few family things I had to wrap up. But last Wednesday's member stream was great. Thank you, Mouse World 666. Hey, what is that? That's the tail? No. There we go. I was like, what the hell was going on? Thank you. Thank you. And then we got Ren French Moon for €5. Fake outrage and lies. We were heading in a good way. 4 weddings and a funeral had a gay couple, and we were accepting. No one was mad. Movie was beloved. That's why I said nobody gives a damn what adults do. It's they stepped over the line and tried to push it to kids.
Yeah,
that's where everybody's like,
we were on a look. I think the evolutionary path to be more acceptable of our fellow man is where we're supposed to be going. We were on that path.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was naturally evolving and I'll tell you something. This is going to seem funny, but I don't mean it as such. I went and saw Step Up 2, The Streets in the theater, the movie Step Up, the dance.
I remember.
Step Up 2. So I went with some friends that wanted to go. I'm like, fuck it, I'll go, whatever.
Like watching Breakdance, the movie.
Yeah. Well, Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Breaking 2,
Electric Boogaloo. I went and saw all
totally
those. I loved all
movie.
of. But so when I was watching Step Up to the Streets, the good dance gang, like our protagonists, was this very mixed, integrated group of people. Like all the different, everybody was. And I remember sitting there thinking,
the Planeteers. Yeah.
I was like, wow, look at this. This is they're not making a big deal about, I mean, sure, there's always racial tension or whatever in these kinds of movies, but the good guys were just this integrated gang. It seemed natural. They treated each other, and I'm like, wow. And I remember walking out of that movie, and it's so weird because I shouldn't have even gone to Step Up to the Streets. And my big takeaway from that film was what an interesting way to go. Like, look at how far we've come as a society. And Step Up to the Streets was the movie and it made me feel good about it. I'm like, you know what? We're on a good path. People are getting to talk to one another.
You found something positive about it anyway.
Yeah, and I was like, this is a great thing. Now, here's where I knew it wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Years after that, I made this comment because I was talking about where I grew up on my street in my neighborhood. No one really cared what color you were. People really only cared what your mother was making for dinner that night, because everybody's mother had a speciality that they would make, and we'd all like, certainly during the summer, what's your mom making? And it didn't matter because we had a Korean family, we had a black family, we had a Japanese family, Chinese family. We were Jewish, and it was like, what's cooking? And I made a comment once in mixed company. I said, you know what? Wouldn't it be great if we could get all the moms around the world to just make their favorite dish, and everybody could sit down at a table and sample all the food that the moms make? And you know what someone says to me? Oh, so you think all women should just be in the kitchen cooking?
Oh, geez. Of course.
And I'm just like, oh my God.
I can't win for losing.
I can't. And I realize that I'm like, we're in a little bit of trouble.
We're in a lot of bit of trouble, Robert. And that's just it. And I said this, I think before you got here, we were talking about this whole thing too, a little bit. The biggest problem is a lot of these younger kids, it's not all, unless you have somebody who can actually, a key master, who can show you the way. A lot of these kids haven't seen a lot of these films, right? Like we've talked about where Film Threat, revealed that, a lot of these Pixar people haven't seen any of the original animated films, or people working on Snow White haven't seen Snow White.
Unbelievable.
And it's like every time I watch an older film, I'm reminded at how diverse and how progressive we had gotten. Were things a little off here and there that could have used some tweaking? Oh, sure. This is why I think Kevin Smith acts the way he acts, because he can still bank on certain things, but the moment people actually sit down and actually watch Chasing Amy, that movie is going to get him fucking canceled because there's so many problems with it now in comparison to reality. Like that movie goes against the grain in a lot of things with it. Because I mean, basically the movie is just saying you just need some deep dicking and you'll.
Well, funny enough, it's my favorite Kevin Smith movie. So I mean,
it is. It's to most people, but I mean, I sit here and I look at it like, look, movies were very diverse because like I have movies like this that I grew up on, back in the 90s and shit.
The hell is that?
That movie is Hedwig in the End. It's one of the greatest movies ever made.
Hedwig. I couldn't read it. Oh, no.
That movie's a fun. Well, how about one of the great scenes of racial epithets in history is in Do the Right Thing? The camera is pushing in on everybody insulting each other.
Yeah.
Somebody today, when you can't say
She's
that.
Gotta Have It is good too.
Oh, that's please, baby.
Dude,
baby,
early Spike was untouchable, man.
Untouchable.
He was. But then we had, when I think everything changed? Lambada, The Forbidden Game. That was it. That's when everything went to shit.
That or Bamboozled. I don't know which one, but yeah.
Nick Brony for $5. I'm a dude playing another dude playing a woman. Squid Games too.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
I love that. That is awesome.
But I would, it's funny if anybody's going to complain about that. John Cazale only made 5 films before he passed away from cancer, and one of those movies was Dog Day Afternoon, and that they're robbing a bank so his lover can have a sex change operation. They're literally that's the plot of the movie.
It was ahead of its time, man.
It's Al Pacino. Yeah, but they don't even know that movie was available, and now somebody would bitch and moan and complain that Al Pacino was a trans woman or wanted to be, wanted to have that transition surgery. I mean, this was over 50 years ago.
Speaking of Pacino again, which is even more hilarious, you got the other end of that now where they tried to cancel him for cruising back in the day, but now the gay community has like embraced that movie.
No, they were trying to stop the filming of that. They were
I know.
Wait a minute, did I miss something? Wait, was Al Pacino's character in Dog Day Afternoon? He was the one.
No, he wasn't trans.
No,
I know that part, but was he doing it to help his friend, or with him and his friend together?
They're together, I thought.
I remember it that way.
I thought he was.
That was my understanding. He was the butch.
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously.
We're gonna lose. Okay, I'm gonna do an outro because we're gonna lose Badger and the DA. Thank you for coming. We're only gonna be here another 10 minutes, and that's it. We're gonna cover 2 more things and then jump out. Thank you for coming. Please tell everybody, DA, what you're doing.
Sorry, I was late.
Find you. No, not a problem at all, my friend. DA,
what's up? Oh, what I got going? Yeah, daily videos. Go ahead and check out my channel. I just dropped a video about the whole Indiana Jones situation, James Mangold. So I let some thoughts on that. So go ahead and check that out. And then I got the DA's office coming up later tonight, probably at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're up late, definitely check me out there. Thanks once again, George, for having me on. Guys, I appreciate the conversation. Always a pleasure.
Always great to see you. Thank you, DA. And next week we should have a surprise guest. I'll make that announcement this week. We're gonna have somebody
Sydney
who.
Sweeney?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, please.
We're gonna, if I have Sydney Sweeney, it's like y'all guys are staying home. I'll just.
All right,
that's a one-on-one, man. You don't do a group thing.
No. Angry Badger, what you got coming up?
Appreciate you. Yeah, tonight I'll be on Diabolical Souls Presents Gooch, Late Night with the Gooch. And then today was actually my 1-year anniversary of making videos on the channel. So tomorrow after Film Threat, we're going to do like a celebration stream on Badger Pass.
Congrats, my friend. Congrats.
Congratulations. That's beautiful. Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Hey, have me on. Have me on. I'll join that.
Sure, man. I'll shoot you a link. Appreciate you all. Yeah, I get to stream with my heroes. It is great. So yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you having me on, and see you tomorrow, everyone. Happy birthday, Robert. I'll see you tomorrow.
Congratulations again. Congratulations. I think y'all know about Notre Dame, how it reopened again this weekend after the fire. And I thought one of the great videos was how Trump greeted Macron and that the power handshake. It's like,
how you doing?
Yeah. It was just one of those things. It was nice, but there was a lot.
Did you see was it like Jill Biden like practically making out with him?
It was weird. I was gonna say
that was really weird. Yeah.
I'll show you that. I have it ready. She was
thanking his ass for something.
He was doing, yeah. I was. I think they're like, thank God, we wanted you. We didn't want anybody else. It was. Where did it go
Yeah,
here?
Jill. I get the feeling she's a randy old girl, man.
I mean, I'm not trying to imply anything. Like, I don't think anything hanky. Like, I'm starting to really think there was something behind the scenes going down that
I think she was
clearly
thrilled.
were privy to. That, yeah, I know that's part of it, but I think there was something else Trump did that we don't know about. Because this is the more and more I learn about Trump. And this is something I've liked about Trump more recently, that I keep finding all these stories out about him, about stuff that I never knew that he ever did. Well, mainly because the media suppresses the hell out of it.
Oh my God. Do you know how many people he's bought homes for? If you go back.
That's what I'm saying. Like all these little things that he does that he never like goes out there and brags about or anything like that. Yeah.
She's glowing, right? You could see that. She's like thrilled. Trump,
there's something, yeah.
You got to like the fact that he used that, and he put this out a few hours ago. He used the picture, right? Because I don't have Truth Social. He used that picture, and then he goes, here are my new Trump perfume and colognes. I call them fight, 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 because they represent us winning. Great Christmas gifts for the family. But he put it underneath the picture here.
Gents, I have to run. I'm sorry. I have to bail.
Not a problem.
I'm sorry it was late, but I'll be better next week.
No problem. Great
Good to see you all.
See you, Rob.
Verbal, Tom, George.
You want to tell everybody what you got coming up, or what?
I just got my first review of the first 3 episodes of our audio drama that I've been producing, since May. Working on it for over a year. True Noir: The Assassination of Anton Cermak. Written, all 10 scripts were written by Max Allan Collins, the writer of Road to Perdition, and we're dropping it on December 20th. And if you like audio dramas or books on tape, this is a star-studded one starring Michael Rosenbaum. Katie Sackhoff is in it. Bill Sadler is in it. David Strathairn is in it. And it's one of the things I'm most proud of in my entire career. I busted my ass, and I hope you will enjoy it.
Can't wait to review it.
I'll be on Gary's show, Nerdrotic show, on Friday.
Whoa, that's wonderful. Can't wait.
Talk about War of the Rohirrim.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting to see it.
Yeah, I think it opens, Thursday?
Yeah, the 10th. It opens the 10th. I think, yeah. We're supposed
to. I have to run. I must go.
All right. Have a great day.
See you guys later.
Yep. We also had this, and we're literally wrapping up now. I just wanted to show you all. Trump came back to the U.S. today, and so he did a Meet the Press. There's about 3 clips, which I think are golden.
Let me ask you about some of your other promises on this topic. You promised to end birthright citizenship on day 1. Is that still your plan?
Yeah, absolutely.
The 14th Amendment, though, says that, quote, all persons born in the United States are citizens. Can you get around the 14th Amendment with an executive action?
We're going to have to get a change. We'll maybe have to go back to the people, but we have to end it. We're the only country that has it.
Through an executive action?
We're the only country that has it. Do you know, if somebody sets a foot, just a foot, 1 foot, you don't need to, on our land, congratulations, you are now a citizen of the United States of America. Yes, we're going to end that because it's ridiculous.
Through executive action?
Well, if we can, through executive action. I was going to do it through executive action, but then we had to fix COVID first, to be honest with you. We have to end it.
What do y'all think of that? Him ending birthright citizenship. I think that would be a great thing.
I think he's going to have some issues with the 14th Amendment thing, but I
agree.
It's a dicey. I think if you amend it in a way that, like, if one of your parents is an American citizen, maybe, or something like that. I don't know how to. That to me is kind of a real dicey situation.
Yeah, I think you should stay away from this part of it, man. I think go after illegals for sure. Go after people who aren't here in this country illegally. But that that's going to get dicey, is my thing.
Okay, but there are services that's one of the things that he's talking about. There are services that fly people over here. The Chinese have this entire industry where it's just like, just get them there, have the kid, and that's it.
That's true. You're already a parent or a citizen if one of your parents is. So yeah, this is the thing is, this has been a long-standing thing for a long time. I think he's going to have a hard time with this. Is one he's going to probably get some pushback on. And I get it. There's arguments to be made about people who just come over here just to have kids and all that stuff, and then they risk. But that's the thing. I guess what Trump has to do then is, I guess the answer is that he has to make it a thing where you can come over here and have your kid, but if you want to keep your kid and leave the country and take your kid with you, then you have to become a citizen at some point, or you're going to get arrested or deported. Right, like that's the thing is, I mean, because if you have a kid here, does that automatically just make you a citizen now?
It makes the kid a citizen, then they
the kid. But that's my point, and that's where he has to attack
because
this from that angle. Basically, that's the only way.
You know, almost no country has birthright citizenship. I was looking at this for the last week because they started mentioning again. None. They've
yeah. I mean, they don't, man. My girlfriend is in Korea, and like, you know, when I go over there, it's like, you know, if we had a baby, I mean, like, cause I don't think she doesn't have. She was born and raised here, right? But her family is from there, so I don't know how her citizenship works. But, yeah, I don't know how that would work if we had a baby there, which we won't because we're both too old. But but if we had a baby there, like it wouldn't be recognized as a citizen,
right?
So yeah, you're right. We're the only country who does this dumb shit. But the problem is it's a very dicey. There's a lot of legal things involved in this.
If we haven't had it for so long, like I think, isn't this one of our original? Like this has been around for a long time.
No, because it is
Reconstruction, but I remember.
It is a problem. I'm just saying that I think Trump needs to focus on just purely illegals right now, and then figure out something that involves that. Because right now, if he tries to tackle both things, it's going to be a mess, and nothing's going to get accomplished. So
he's got 4 years.
The only answer is basically you treat the parents like you would any other illegal, right? Like they can leave with their kid, like I said earlier, but if they want to come back in, they have to do it the legal way. Their kid.
So I mean, we can't have them leave and then keep the kid here.
Oh,
exactly. They can take the kid with them, but then they can't just come back with their kid or whatever. Like that's the thing. Like, or if you leave the kid here, tough shit. You got to go through the channels to get the kid back properly. Like, I guess that's all Trump can do is attack it from that angle. That way, he's not actually going after the kids themselves. He's going after the parents and making them take responsibility for their own actions and their own, you know, because in that way, if you're just somebody here who's vacationing in the US and you have your kid here, oh, well, you're going to go home and you're never going to come back anyway again, probably anyhow, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But like, if you're somebody who's legitimately trying to come here and just have a kid so you can play this fucking game, well, then that's where, like I said, Trump can come at it from that other angle and leave the kids out of it, I guess, in a way, leave the kids alone. So like, you know,
I think he's got to stop it. We'll dig into this later this week, but it's a massive. I didn't know how big of a problem.
Well, that's just it. If you make it harder to get in here, there's nobody going to be having kids in here anyway because they're not going to be able to get in here.
Yeah,
right? Like that's the other thing. Unless they're doing it in a way that's so illegal that
that's going to be a tough fix, man.
It's just because remember, 4 years he's got to do. He's got to fix the foundation of everything that's cracked, and then hopefully, you know, Vance can take it from there. But here's another one. When he was talking, he started to. It's funny how his upcoming borders are sounds like him.
Well, I don't want to be breaking up families. So the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together and you have to send them all back.
See, there you go. Yeah. He's already kind of on top of it. See, that's what I'm saying. All right. Like, yeah.
I mean, he's right, though.
Yeah, because you have Holman who was talking about, because you have all these governors, Colorado, I think in 2 or 3 other states where they're saying they're not going to work with, they're not going to work with Trump. They're going to stand and fight against him about the illegal immigration.
And they all need to get fired.
I think they should go to jail. I was actually listening to a couple of law streams. One was Joe from Good Logic, and Ron was on another one, and they were discussing the fact that the way that's aiding and abetting and breaking all these laws. I'm like, just arrest these governors. But
I agree. Fuck them. I mean, they're not above the law, man.
No, not at all. And here's what Holman is saying. One of the reasons why.
Well, look, first of all, I want to make something clear to exactly what we're going to do for all these sanctuary cities pushing back. San Diego's writing legislation. You got Colorado and other states and other cities saying they're going to prevent us doing what I'm doing. I want to send them a clear message. If you let us in the jail, we can arrest a bad guy in the jail, in the safety and security of a jail. One officer could do that. But when you release a public safety threat back in the community, you put the community at risk, you put my officers at risk, you put the alien at risk. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to release that guy in the community. I'm going to send an entire team to go look for the guy in your community. And what's going to happen? We'll find that guy. And when we find that guy, there's probably going to be others that are not a priority. However, if they're in the country illegally, they'll be arrested too, because we're not going to tell an immigration officer like this Biden administration did that you're going to turn your back on a known immigration illegal. When you're an immigration officer, you have an oath to uphold. So you are forcing us into community at large numbers where other non-priority aliens will be arrested. That's a result, the exact result you don't want. So let us into jail. It's safer for everybody, and it's the right thing to do to security communities. What we're going to do, Murray, we're going to target, like I say, public safety threats, national security threats. We're going to send agents.
That's interesting what he's saying. He's kind of saying you want us to focus solely on the criminals. Well, that's what we want to do. But if we can't focus on the criminals, we're going to have to go hunt the criminals down, and whoever's with them, we're obviously got to take them too. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Because that's what it sounded like.
And it sounds like they'd have less trouble if they quit letting them just flow in here like they are. Exactly. Like,
yeah, I agree.
I get it. You can regulate all you want, and there's still going to be some that are going to make it their way through one way or another illegally. I get that. But their job load is going to be so much less if it's so much harder to get into the U.S. You know, and that goes back to the point we were just talking about before too, about having kids here. Well, if it's very difficult to get here, right, you know, then yeah, it makes it harder to just come here and have a kid. Yeah.
All right, 2 more things and we're done. This is it. I liked what he had to say about the FBI. When you go see how CNN is treating it, they flipped out.
Are you going to fire the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, who you appointed?
Well, I can't say I'm thrilled with him. He invaded my home. I'm suing the country over it. He invaded Mar-a-Lago. I'm very unhappy with the things he's done. And crime is at an all-time high. Migrants are pouring into the country that are from prisons and from mental institutions, as we've discussed. I can't say I'm thrilled. I don't want to be Joe Biden and give you an answer and then do the exact opposite.
We're going to talk about
So
that,
I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to say is I certainly cannot be happy with him. You take a look at what's happened. And then when I was shot in the ear, he said, oh, maybe it was shrapnel. Where's the shrapnel coming from? Is it coming from heaven? I don't think so. So we need somebody to straighten. You know, I have a lot of respect for the FBI, but the FBI's respect has gone way down over the last number of years.
Don't you have to fire him in order to make room for Kash Patel if he is in fact confirmed?
Well, I mean, it would sort of seem pretty obvious that if Kash gets in, he's going to be taking somebody's place, right?
Right. I don't know why I didn't know why he was dancing around that, because he already said Kash Patel is going to be FBI director. It's like, of course you're going to fire him.
Yeah.
Because his term's not up till 27.
I think I could.
That was an odd one.
He's trying to give a political answer to when he's not a politician. This is one thing I've grown to love about Trump. Is he doesn't know how to speak like a politician.
Right.
Because you know how a politician is. They'll say, look at this hand while I'm doing something else with the other hand.
Yeah.
They'll never give you a straight fucking answer. But he did give her sort of a straight answer. In a way, it's kind of like, I'm not going to sit here and say, because like, what he's saying is I'm not necessarily going to fire this guy. Maybe he's going to move him around. He's like, at least saying that much. He's like, clearly somebody's going to have to move, or he's going to have to take somebody's position. Right. So it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to fire the guy. Maybe he's going to give him a demotion.
I don't want him to get a demotion.
Or maybe here's the other thing, and this is just my speculation here again. Maybe he just doesn't want to say it flat out right now because he doesn't want a firestorm coming at him from this guy before he gets into office. I mean, that could be too, but at the same time,
stand Chris Wray. He can't stand Chris Wray.
Well, but this guy right now, he's still not technically the president yet, and who knows?
But his final, was his final on part of it.
I also asked the president-elect about NBC News' reporting that President Biden is considering preemptive pardons for some of the people who have clashed with Mr. Trump, including Senator-elect Adam Schiff, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and former Congresswoman Liz Cheney. As part of his response, Mr. Trump lashed out at the January 6th committee, accusing it of unfairly...
You know, that shit pisses me off that the mainstream media does that, especially on the left. They're like, Mr. Trump. Well, actually, it's president-elect. I mean, it drives me nuts. I know
it should have been President Trump anyway, because he's a former president already.
I know. To me, President Trump, that's it. Done. I hate their little games.
Targeting him and even of destroying its records, which the committee
soon
denied.
they'll have to say it.
Yeah.
And Cheney was behind it. And so was Benny Thompson and everybody on that committee. For what they did.
Yeah.
And honestly right here, if you want to pause real quick, this is where Trump should be keeping his mouth shut.
Okay,
you don't telegraph your moves, because this is exactly what's going to fucking happen. Is Biden's going to last minute give all these motherfuckers pardons?
I think he's trolling them to do that. I think he's trolling them.
Yeah, but half these motherfuckers need to go down, and I hope that Trump goes after him. And if they know their targets, then they're gonna beg for. We've been getting rumors they're already begging for fucking pardons, and that's why they're putting this out there in the world, is because it's already out there.
How are preemptive pardons even legal?
See, I don't know, but I think Trump is trolling.
I think they mean
Biden to do that.
Preemptive in that they'll give him pardons in case he does go out. But yeah, I don't know. This is unprecedented. Like, Biden's giving out pardons in a weird way I've never seen before. And
because he gave Fauci a fucking preemptive pardon. I'm like, how do you give a preemptive pardon?
Did he really already? I didn't hear that.
No, they want to have that happen. They want one for Schiff. They want one for Fauci. They want it for They want it for everybody. But Schiff came out and said, no, I don't want one. That's why Schiff and others started pushing. We need to have Biden give Trump a pardon. If I were Trump, I'd be, I don't want a pardon. I did nothing wrong. I'm fighting it in the courts. I'm going to get this shit overturned. They're like, he should start his term in office clean. I'm like, he is clean. Y'all did the political crap. But I really think they not only need to be fired, I cannot wait till Fauci has all his benefits removed. You know, he's gotten $12 million so far in security. That's just the security bill from Secret Service and the U.S. Marshals.
Well, he's the one that I feel like really needs to, like, I'll sacrifice almost any of the other ones that was mentioned.
I agree. Fuck Fauci.
For somebody like Fauci, because Fauci is the one that needs to be fucking held responsible the most for the shit that we dealt with after, like, this whole fucking last few years.
Oh, well, thank you, Romina Jones, because I haven't figured out how you can do preemptive pardons. Like, you say no matter what you do, you're
kind of like he did for Hunter, basically, yeah.
It's just nuts. Anyway, he basically he says, you know, he finishes by saying what he thinks is a crime.
Go to jail.
So you think Liz Cheney should go to jail?
For what they did.
Everyone on the committee, you think
I think
should
everybody
go to jail.
anybody that voted in favor.
Are you going to direct your FBI director and your attorney general to send them to jail?
Not at all. I think that they'll have to look at that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to focus on drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, he basically goes on. He's going to focus on rebuilding the country, but they're going to go after him doing what they
for
need
him,
to
though,
do.
man. Look, you know what? I agree with Tom, though. I like the fact that, you know, he's just going to come at you straight. I mean, it's like he's not going to. He doesn't know all the political BS, and I think we're just tired of people who are, you know, speaking out the side of their mouths, man. I mean, here in LA, here in California, we got to deal with Gavin fucking Newsom, who was basically the Justin Trudeau of California. Fuck that guy. You know, and you want to talk about political doublespeak? Listen to anything he talks about.
I know it's nuts, but you know, one thing that gives me a lot of hope for California still, even though you have Gavin Newsom, is that I was reading articles that Hollywood in general, as the celebrities and the studios, are not planning to do any of the pink pussy hat demonstrations. They're not looking to back any of the organizations to start Trump's, you know, second term, as in putting up roadblocks. Like, we're just going to focus on some local stuff. We're not going to do any of that, you know. Just going to focus on local.
You know why, though? You know why California, or why Gavin Newsom and everybody's trying to, like, you know, clean up things over here? It's because the fucking Olympics is coming here.
It's not in 28, isn't it? In 28?
Yeah, the next Olympics will be here, I believe. And so he's trying to do all these things, right, to make it look like, oh, California is this great place, and look how clean it is. We have no homeless people because we're sweeping them. We're sweeping them to the east where no one goes to, right?
Yeah.
So no, he's a piece of shit, man.
He is a piece of shit. Is he termed out? Is he termed out now?
Yeah, he's done. This is his last. I think he has like a year or two left or something, but. He's done, but the damage he's done is irreversible, man. Like it's California, the economy we used to have is gone. I don't think we're the 5th largest economy anymore.
I used to love California. I would go there every other year. I loved it.
Well, when Newsom's trying to get movies back in Hollywood, yeah, that tells you there's a problem, basically.
Yeah, he's trying to get another $1 billion so he can help out the film industry.
Even the $1 billion that he lost already?
That's what I mean. They're not making the tax money they used to. That's my point. Like, and the businesses ain't cutting it anymore because maybe you closed everything fucking down during COVID and you don't have the business owners there anymore, right? Like that. Yeah, they basically have backed themselves into this fucking corner.
The why Californians voted for him, again, I will not understand.
Just same reason what we've been talking about this whole fucking show.
They're suffering, but they're actually suffering. People have suffered there under the guy.
You know why, George? Because California is a safe haven for people who want to kill their babies or mutilate them.
And they don't give a shit about anything else.
Or mutilate themselves or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing else matters.
Crazy. All right. James, for $10, if one parent has Korean citizenship and the other American, then the child would have dual citizenship in American Korea. That isn't birthright citizenship. There you go, Verbal. Thank you, James. Okie dokie.
Yeah, I don't know all this stuff in and out, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, there's a way of going about it. I'm sure it was my point, but yeah.
Thank you both for coming. Verbal, what are you doing this week? And where can they find you? We got to get you. Are you almost there?
Yeah, I'm almost there, man. I haven't done a check in a couple of days, but last I checked, I was about 100 away, just 100 away from 5K. So I'm trying to hit that number.
Come on, we got 700 people here, and we got everybody on Twitter. Come on.
I am 100. I am 160 away. So if you guys can just sub, that'd be really cool, man. But other than that, yeah, I'll be on Film Threats Versus tomorrow. Probably be hanging with you, George, on Wednesday. Got some videos I'm producing. They should have been out already, but been having some weird tech issues with my computer. But other than that, yeah, just the usual.
Beautiful. Tom, what about you?
Oh, you can find me at the usual places like Midnight's Edge After Dark. We got the morning show tomorrow morning. I don't know if I'll do anything else tonight. You never know. I might pop up somewhere.
Cool. Well,
thanks for having me as always.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for being here. I haven't done a Monday show in 2 weeks, but I think I'm going to do one tomorrow night. I'll put it up probably around 4 p.m. tomorrow in the community section and on YouTube. So if it's there like by 4:30, then I will see you all tomorrow night. Thank you, everybody. All of you have been amazing. Please go thank Fletcher Williams. He's here in the back producing. Eric K, King of the Mods, Lord Thoth, and Olaf. And every one of you, all your support today, it really means the world to me. We're going to listen to Dan, and then we're going to check out of here.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight on the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sail the stars, star-spangled banner yet wave. Oh, the land of the free and the hope of the
Beautiful. All right, everybody. Have a blessed week. I'll be back here tomorrow, Wednesday. Hope everything goes great for you. Eat your Winnemans and always forward.